Yo, what's up guys? The first episode of the State of BDO podcast happened tonight. On the video was featured Choice, Janae, Namiko, Verdict, Huehotbar, and Grim. A good discussion happened. I'm going to put all the timestamps in the bottom so you should be able to see every single question that was asked, all the discussions. I'm not including lore or PvP in this video because I think those topics kind of got drawn out. We wanted to make sure we included the original video in the description in case you want the full thing, but I have a toned down version with a little bit of our opinions. Hope you guys enjoy. Let's get into it.
The new region release has a bit of a mixture of PvP and PvE content, and I'm very curious about the first impressions that you guys have had of the new region and what you think of it in totality. And we can go deeper into like some rabbit holes here and there, talking about specifics of what you do and don't like. But I guess just kind of what is it that you like and dislike about the new region? I suppose we can just go in order here. So Grim, what's been your thoughts about the
Here we go,
region
guys.
so
far? The lore and everything was great. The Grindspots are very similar and quite boring, honestly.
Okay. So yeah, the Grindspots being super similar, I find that was a bit of a thing that I found about the new region as well. It seems like it all kind of boils down to the same sort of, you kill a squishy mob and then you kill packs of squishy mobs until there's an elite. Then you kill the elite, it spawns more squishy mobs, and then you ultimately, it leads to a 10 to 12 minute run that results in a boss at the end. It kind of seems like every single grind spot is like exactly the same. Is that what you guys also have been experiencing?
Pretty much. I also don't like that our efficiency is capped based on this like artificial time gating.
Oh, I see.
My point of view is a tad different on that. I'll go on you first.
Yeah, good con.
I was just gonna express like, the new region for me has actually been pretty interesting. It's very different to like previous grind.
Is this Namiko talking? Do you guys know?
In terms of like, you know, like tongue grid and stuff like this, where you're expanding around a lot and all this kind of stuff. But I kind of like the like consistent like wave almost kind of approach that it has, and it's like kind of motivated me to grind quite a little bit more. Like I've been really hammering out grinding since Edania came out. Before that, I wasn't as interested in grinding, so feels like.
Oh, thank you.
I don't really
that
know
little
explain,
UI, nice. Okay.
Feels a little bit different to other grind spots, and for me, that's it's actually kind of interesting. So.
Okay. So you actually like these grind spots more than like previous grind spots. I would admit that I think that the grind spots, like for example, Orbita, I feel like Orbita was a very cool grind spot that I actually really did enjoy. I know that they changed it around. And
B+ for Orbita. Let's be real.
Orbita,
it's like not that good. It's better than it could have been.
That I have,
but it's not that good.
The grind spots and kind of what Grim was saying is that Orbita feels like a unique grind spot, but Orbita doesn't feel unique to Tenenbaum or Zephyros or the freaking Rushalka or whatever that other grind spot is called. Yeah, Nymphomare. Like they all kind of, all 5 of them feel like they're ultimately reskins of themselves. So while I would agree that Orbita feels
Therion's unique,
any
but
other grind spot in a non-Edania region, the thing that I kind of, I guess, and maybe what Grim was feeling too, is that every grind spot, like when you hit 777 gear score, like you got the gear score for Jordan,
surely
the game has turned a lot into more of a theme park MMO where they kind of want you to have a certain amount of AP and DP, and then you go to that next best spot. It seems like that seems to be the intention of where they were going. So for anybody that hits 777 gear score,
I don't know.
Basically in Edania, as
you can grind wherever you want though.
Spots, and the thing that makes that tough is from 777 all the way up to 900 gear score, you're stuck in the same type of grind spot. Right, like all 5 of them are precisely the same.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. I think you mean with like basically the way it runs out, right? Like you said, where you kill mini mobs and then you kill an elite, and then you have like the AFK phase and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Would you personally like to see like some variety? Because one complaint I saw from a lot of people regarding Edania was they're essentially just like tower spots. and people have been really enjoying like Tungrad and Darkseekers again. Is that like something that you personally enjoy?
Darkseekers
Or
is a
everyone, I guess. Would you rather see more
Darkseekers
Tungrad-esque
is
spots,
a tower
or would you rather see
spot.
more like tower-like spots?
Don't get it twisted.
I just want different spots, dude. I don't want the reskin of the same thing.
I have to write it in
Yeah,
chat so Choice notices it.
I want to give more people time to talk, right? Like Janai, Hugh, you guys got to weigh in on what you think of the grind.
You like my
spots
chat,
too,
guys?
But,
But I really don't
feel
think
like variety
Darkseeker
is the
was like an
spice of
open
life. I
spot.
would have
It's
loved to have
basically a
seen
tower spot.
A 3-man grind spot in Edania. I would have
Like,
loved to
if there's
see
not
a
more than
pack
3
grind spot in
packs to
Edania.
farm,
I would
it's a
love to
tower
see
spot, you
tower
guys.
spot like Orbita. I just feel like 5 of the same tower spot. It could have been so much more variety and really cater to more people. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Janai? What do you think, Hugh? What are your guys' thoughts on these?
I think tower spot missing is really disappointing. Even KR people I saw, they wanted a tower
W.
spot.
W-tick.
And, you know, we know why they are making a tower spot these days, right? Tower spot. Because they cannot balance when there's a pack-to-pack spot. Some classes are super OP, right, on pack-to-pack. Because a pack-to-pack spot usually requires maybe pulling skill or a good movement skill.
Yes.
Yeah.
But not all classes has that. So I don't like it. Not every spots are tower spot, but I can understand it. I can understand it, yes. But hopefully, they make a better spot soon, like Edania Part 2 and Party Spots 2.
He's hoping,
That's
but he's
what I
right.
think about Edania grinding spot.
He's right.
Yeah.
He's
So
right.
It seems like in KR they were definitely leaning towards wanting more tower spots. That's what you're saying? Like the player base really wanted these types of grinds?
No,
they
no
don't
way.
like pack to pack because
No way.
of the fact that there is like class differences. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not like a representative of Korea, so I can't say Korean people want it. But that's what I think. That's what I think. Not Korean people.
Yeah.
Even Korean people complaining about all grinding spots are similar mechanic, all tower, boring, Dekia spot again.
Yeah.
Ethereon's a good grind spot. This is a hot take, but
I totally
Ethereon
understand that.
is the least of the. I mean, it's a
Like, I
tower
know that
still,
you're
but
not
it's more
speaking for
unique to
everybody
me.
in KR, but you know, you are
My hot
closest
take.
information source from like what's being talked about in KR because you know you play on the server and you're one of the few English speaking KR streamers, if maybe even the only actually, and so you have some very valuable perspective as to what's being kind of talked about. Do you spend some time like on the Inven Global and like the KR Reddit forums and stuff like that to see what people are talking about, or do you kind of shy away from that type of stuff? You don't not really interested?
I hope they talk about
Basically,
AP
I
scaling.
actually check quite a lot.
Okay. So were people
Yeah,
on
and
those
it's not
forums
really-
like what was the general consensus regarding the new grinding in Edania? Or like what were people mostly saying on those forums about it?
Most people complain because of a bug in KR actually.
Mm,
Wow.
yeah,
Because
there
you
was a lot
guys
of
usually
bugs.
get a better version than KR, and KR people struggling with a bug. KR people talk about a lot of bug and maintenance about grinding spot. But seems there isn't big complaint about the grinding spot mechanic. That's what I found out.
Okay, so not a lot of complaints about the mechanics. Do you
Yeah.
How many
find-
people can even grind there to
like,
complain about it?
personally, something that I really find a lot of motivation in, and my favorite grind spots throughout the history of Black Desert has always been 3-person to 5 people grind spots.
There's not enough
I
people
found
who are
my
this
love of
scared.
grinding
I really don't
a
think
lot
so.
more in Sawsons when it first came out, which you would do with 5 people. And after
Yep.
that, I transitioned into like Pirates. Then I transitioned into Gyphins. Then I did Miramok. Then I did Olins. Like I was always bouncing from group to group spot. And I know that that's not a very popular thing, and most people like their solo gameplay. And from time to time, I mean, I like my solo gameplay as well. But I kind of feel like even with a tower spot design, there's so much opportunity that they could have had to make at least one of these grind spots a tower spot. Like, there's pretty much no reason why Tenebrom and Zephyros are the same money, the same exact kind of design, and one of them is not a group spot. Like, why would one of them not be a 3-person spot? It's the same grind spot, right?
True.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I miss Power Island, dude.
Yeah, and another thing too that I found, and kind of why a large part of my unhappiness, I guess,
PvP on Gahaz. We got them in
the
chat,
grind spots
guys.
is they also don't really feel like they're much more money than prior grind spots. Like the amount of money that I made in Orzekia,
They're all
and
right.
the amount of money that I made at Darkseeker's Retreat, and
Basically the same.
even Golden Pig Cave, the lucky version. I was making roughly 3 to 4 billion an hour at DSR and ores, and now I'm making roughly 3 to 4 billion an hour, despite the fact that I am supposed to be utilizing probably like 4 trillion more silver in gear score.
Just
but
4
I'm
trill,
making
guys.
the same amount of money
Just
at
4 trill.
lava frogs versus
Rip lava
Orzekia.
frogs, man.
I was also a little bit disappointed with the amount of money that I could earn in the spot. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Oh,
But the worst thing was that you can make that money at DSR and you can DC and you can live because it doesn't do any damage.
amen. Hey,
That's true.
man.
So there's like a crystal risk element that's not present in DSR for the same amount of money.
Yep.
It's a lot better XP too. Like the in-game spots in Edania don't really give that much XP.
That's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true at all. We know that Edania
Yeah,
spots
it's
give the
also
best
the odd
XP.
times. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, the money sucks, to be honest. Like, I am clearly disappointed just because of the money, you know? Because even 1 year ago, when I was grinding DK Ash 1, I was making, when Debo was max price, like 3 billion an hour. Now at Tinnerbomb, I'm making 3 billion an hour. They give us more gear without the fact that we need like 5 trillion more
Jenny's right.
silver. And why are they even are nerfing us down by nerfing Orbiter. And
Yep.
I don't know, it doesn't even make sense.
Delays and nerfs.
My
over and
opinion
over.
kind of split into two here because it's not just the reason why you go on the grand spot is not just silver because
It's a
you
huge,
also
huge
need
part of it.
stuff for
It's
your
huge.
stones, crystals, the end times. You need to grind the end times. You need to grind the artifact cup, and it's kind of good that they add more.
I'm just adding my takes,
reasons to
guys.
a grind spot that is not just silver. And that gives me kind of a motivation to grind, to go on that grind spot. And I have to gear, I have to reach that AP to get on the grind spot. But the money is very disappointing, and I did expect like at least 5 billion an hour on the best grind spot in
Someone should
Edania,
mention
and
that we don't get
suddenly
treasures either. I hope they
3
talk about
billion,
that.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing. It even gets nerfed. Like
Like,
I don't
surely
understand.
Treasures
not
would be a
really
huge way to
motivating
help it,
to
right?
grind for silver.
Treasures, group
true.
spots, like more
think,
like
I
monsters.
think the biggest problem with the new grind spots is the distorted fragments.
We have to like mirror what
At
I'm
the
writing
same
in
time as
chat
bringing
here.
out silent for new players through the Tuvala system. And you can't really do anything with the item, right? So if you've grinded quite a lot, you have the silent fragments, which you can sell. At least in EU, I'm not sure how it is in NA.
Yeah, you
But
can.
the distorted fragments that you have, these are like kind of sat in your inventory, and they're just like potential liquid silver that they could change, right? So
Yeah, I would love to
This is
see
the biggest
the
issue.
ability to take those distorteds and turn them into silence. Like that would
Like
make
an
total
upcraft?
sense to me
I
able
like
to have
that.
a conversion ratio there, because the fact that they're just not useful in any way. And I was also surprised.
Maybe
I
they
really was
will.
expecting
Maybe they
that
will.
maybe they were going to drop the distorted fragments up to Orbita, but then as soon as we get to Tenenbaum and Zephyros, I thought it was only going to drop silence.
Yeah, like
Because
a better ratio.
now these endgame grind
Yep,
spots that
yep.
require like legit crazy amounts of gear score, you're dropping a practically useless item here that is useless that you can't even sell. So some type of conversion, or maybe even just like removing them off the drop table in favor of more
They should have
silence.
never added
be a
them
good
to
idea.
the marketplace. Just make them vendor like the Jin Crystal.
Yeah, they definitely could be
It's
vendorable.
better than what it is now.
If you make them vendorable, though, they will contribute to inflation in the game. So I mean, there actually is already a lot of inflation that these grind spots provide, since a lot of the money is trash loot and stuff. But overall,
Doesn't have to be.
I was a little bit disappointed with that. I guess this is a good segue too. What about the actual drop table of these grind spots, we do have new artifacts and we have new lightstones and new crystals, and those are pretty, good and motivating and a reason to want to be in Edania. But I was like rather disappointed that Debarekas were like the primary rare drop.
There you go, Offensi. That one's for you, dude.
It seems like Debos are very overdone.
We're talking about Debos again.
And the Debos are already in the dumpster. Like, they are going down like crazy, and that's contributing to some other issues we'll talk about later. But I don't know. What did you guys think of the Debos in the drop table?
What do I think?
It's pretty boring. Honestly, if I go DSR and I get crazy dopamine, then I go Edania.
We're at the point where you get a Debo and you cheer, and you're upset that you cheer for a Debo. That's the game now.
Pretty good drop rate.
I wish it was a better cheer. You think?
Kind of nice to be able to get an Origin every now and again. You get 250 mil for the fail stack item, which is something that you could expressly use. Especially when it first came out, like, you got lots of dopamine at DSR.
Yep.
You were getting lots of stuff you needed. You had the pities that you needed for your Kabuas. You had the pities you needed for your armor upgrade. You had the actual rare drops of the fail stacking materials. You had the big drops of the full Origin.
He's right.
Those were all directly useful to you items. Whereas, I guess as an endgame player, it seems like a large proportion of the drops here are not directly useful to you. It's like you're getting the end times, you're getting the Herald's Crystal, but all the other rare drops are not actually really... They don't feel like anything when you get them, and it feels a little bit
GM buffs BA7
unsatisfactory because of that.
They added the Devos. They added the Devos because there's nothing better to add. I mean, look at the marketplace. Everything else is down. Min price, you can't sell it anyways. And you get from everywhere already Devos. You get from Rift Pass Devos, you get from Boss Blitz Devos, you get from, I don't know, almost
Final Gladius.
Grindspot already Devos.
Everywhere.
Like, I don't know why they did even do this.
Yeah, especially the Boss Blitz drops everything what you need in game, right? Silver,
every player
Devo,
gets
Crystal,
like 15 Devos a week, yeah.
Down Essence,
Dawn Essence,
yeah,
too.
they for sure just like went crazy on just releasing Debos. And that also kind of contributed to the ultimate killing of a lot of grind spots that used to be good for just Debos. Like, Crypt of Resting Thought used to be great because Debos were high in price and people could go there because they needed Debo belts. Same thing with Ash Forest and Ash Forest 1 and 2, is if you needed Debo next, that's where you needed to go to get those Olins in the earrings. But now I feel like a large proportion of the actual base accessories we're getting from the game are coming from just everywhere and everything. You got Debos from Ataraxian Dungeon, you got Debos from Orzekia, you got Debos from every single Edanian grind spot. Like, now those old grind spots that used to have like a purpose don't really have, they just became useless because they no longer have that purpose. And it just feels like we're just flooded with nothing but Debarekas, and it just feels like it's kind of...
Hot take, this is worse for the mid-game player than the end-game player.
You know how you used to cheer for a Spectre?
The person who likes the game and is gearing up,
even cheer for a Debo anymore.
Now they don't even
like,
want to grind mid-game. Because, like, what do you get? Like, Debos from... Why would you go to regular Ash Forest right now? It's got to be so horrible feeling.
They should have never put Devos on this spot.
They just scaled people down. It's like... I don't know.
You
It's
also get more
insulting.
Devo rings with the Limbo change, too.
Yep.
Gonna make it even worse.
They're making it even worse.
Do you guys think that they should have just not added Debos in total, or added like some new item? Like some new fail stack item or something like that that would essentially require you to keep grinding there?
See, now that would have been great. That would have been great.
Most of us wanted an ability to build a 400 stack. That would have been fantastic.
Yeah, a new Origin that goes from 300 to 400 stacks. That would have been a very relevant endgame change for endgame grind spots.
It's true.
Like that type of thing would have been incredible. Instead, they added more Debos.
But the problem I have with Edania grind spots...
I need like a soundboard right now. One sec.
So it doesn't impact the marketplace. Has always same price. You make the same money in an hour.
The problem with that though,
yeah,
is like Choice said, it adds a lot of inflation to the game. So if everything is just vendorable, then we start earning like large amounts of silver, and because it is not affected by marketplace, you're gonna have like consistent amounts of large silver.
Isn't that what we want? We want more silver an hour, and not 2
Well, yeah,
billion?
of course. But it gets to a point where it gets like a little too much out of hand, and then we have the issue where they then pump up crons again, and then we have very upset players. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, just I guess my main gripe, it's just we to summarize these grind spots a little bit, is just it felt like because the grind spots were so similar, it left a lot of opportunity for them to innovate a little bit in making at least one of these a group spot or a couple of group spots, or do something that wasn't just so cookie cutter. And I guess the thing, the doom that I feel is just that because they want us to be in these grind spots, and I think that their intent is to make it where once you get a certain gear score, you're supposed to move up to the next spot. I feel like this despair of, like, as an endgame player, as soon as you get 777 gear score, you're just stuck in the same types of grind, and there's
F3 is
no
the pearl
opportunity to
market.
change
That's
grinds.
their end game.
Whereas,
That's what
let's say that you're a
Kino's
700
saying.
gear score player. A 700 gear score player has such great options in where
Pearl,
to
pearl,
grind.
pearl.
Like, you've got pack-to-pack spots, you've got Dekia spots, you've got Elvia spots, you've got Pig Cave you can go do, you've
You
got
didn't even know.
just
Yeah.
lots of variety in different types of grinds, whereas ultimately it feels like a punishment having higher gear score, because now you just go from the endless variety of enjoyable grind spots to the never-ending despair of clearing towers and no groups. That's really where my gripe
Sorry.
comes from. I don't
A little
think that
loud.
each individual grind spot here is bad, but I think that as a pairing, if all 5 of these are the same, it becomes...
It's just like every pause I want to. It's like what's playing in my brain right now.
Yeah, that's valid.
I agree with you.
He's right. I mean, what are
Okay.
we supposed to
Yeah,
say?
I guess our hope is for Edania Part 2, I guess, to
Yeah.
give some kind of creative direction in that manner.
I do have one more point to bring up about Edania grinding before we wrap up.
Yep.
So you can make comparable money at DSR just like you do in Edania, but the thing with DSR is you have
Yes.
0 risk, and you can even run the choice and focused lightstone set, which gives you 30% drop rate, and you still have the AP cap. And if there's a event of some kind, like now, you can swap out for Vicious Shadows for more clear speed, or you can get the 500% combat XP set. It just makes DSR just seem like such a better option.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, that's something that I don't think that PA was really considering, is that new that Lightstone set that lowers
Yeah,
your
PA
AP
will
by like
solve
200.
this by
Ultimately,
nerfing
doesn't matter when the
DSR.
AP cap is
Offensi,
5%,
you're a
it past
genius.
the cap,
Yeah.
right? So
It's so
that-
ridiculous,
that
and
just
you're
makes
probably
those grind
right.
spots so much more lucrative whenever
Don't
you're
even-
not reaching the 300%.
Don't give him
otherwise,
ideas, man.
because that means that these grind spots at least have to be 30% better than DSR at a minimum, or else, well, maybe not exactly 30%, but they at least need to be considerably better, considering that you're just going to have more than 30% extra drop rate.
Can you write that in his
Because-
chat, dude? Like,
That's a very good
Like-
point.
Currently now,
PA
I can
will
do
solve.
DSR cap drop rate with only a 10 buff, without any events,
Hmm.
which is insane.
Okay.
I have another interesting point because I'm more like a group-related player, and it's super sad that group spots are kind of dying in this game. They're not even adding new group spots, and I would wish, to be honest, I would wish some group grind spots in the future in Edania somewhere. I don't know. It's just so sad that you can't really grind with like friends or guildmates or partner. Like, I don't know. It kind of group spots. Like, what I really like on group spots is that it gives me another reason to have more motivation and grind.
Yeah. So an
Yeah.
idea that I've had for group grind spots, and especially,
Ooh.
Hugh was mentioning that a lot of the reason why these grind spots of towers are starting to exist is due to class differences and them trying to normalize how much money people can make in PV. And I get that, and that's fair. It's completely right. However, I would also say that it gives a very, very good opportunity for Pearl Abyss to implement a scalable grind spot system. I think that it would be really cool if, let's say I'm grinding here at Zephyros Castle, if I have a second person in my party and we activate 2-player grinding, how easy would it be to just make
Scale
the
it.
mobs twice as tanky and make them drop 2 times loot for 1 person each? And just make
I
these
mean, they
grind
did the
spots scale.
same with the scrolls too, you know?
Right, they did that with exactly. They did that with relic scrolls. They did that
it's
with
exactly the solution to the
the other
problem.
Odraxia scrolls. Like the number of scrolls that you put
Just
in
get people
scales
loot
up the
and let them have fun
monsters.
together. That could literally
So
save this
if
game right
they
now.
start to make nothing but these tower spots, you could make these tower spots go from 1 to 2 to 3 all the way up to 5-person grind spots very, very easily by implementing some type of a scalable system. And I think that that would be the perfect way to bridge the gap between what PvE players want that like group content and what PvP or PvE players that like solo content like. You just make it.
Yeah, that'd be
both.
sick.
I think that's
they're
really
never
good.
gonna do that. It's such a good idea, but they're never gonna do that. I
They
think they're
could,
just
though.
lazy, honestly,
The
to
reason they
develop
can't
something
do
like
that
that.
is they can balance it, right? Orbita, they fix 4 weeks in a row.
Sorry, guys, I didn't put their chat
And
on.
if
There
they
you
Since
go.
when
do
is something
running
balanced in this game? I mean, they try to balance, and by their balance, they just create a new meta. They're not balancing anything in this game.
So, do you think that it would be hard to balance a 5-man Grindspot like that, Hugh?
Of course, they don't even balance Orbita for 1 month, right? They fix Orbita still. There's still
Unreal.
fixing so many
He's
Grindspots
so
in
right,
Edania
unfortunately.
still, and that's
He doesn't trust
why
them.
TR people are really mad about it. And we are getting extension, emergency maintenance every week to fix bug and balance something. And if they scale,
They're too scared of RMT, says
scale
Spaceball. Yeah, I
Grindspot,
think
like
you're right,
level
man.
1 to level 5. I think it will make a huge bug or balance problem. But I think I like that idea if that is possible.
They're building like handrails on a bridge before
It
like
doesn't really
building a good
seem-
bridge.
Like on paper, it seems like
Nobody's
a not
gonna
very
walk on it, you
complicated
know?
system.
It's not
And I
good.
think that going through the growing pains of trying to figure out technologically how they can do it would be worth it, because that just means that you can provide so much more satisfaction to a lot of players that have really been just missing out on group content. That's something that's really prevented a lot of people, in my mind, from playing Black Desert, is just a sheer lack of group content in the game. But if they could create a system that allowed tower spots to scale with number of players,
game
that
would
would just
blow up.
open the doors for a lot of friend groups to start playing
Game
BDO,
would
and
literally blow
and
up.
a lot of people get more hooked on the social aspect of this game than the lonely grinding lava frogs for 1,000 aspect of the game, right? Like, I think that it'd be worth for them to look into that, specifically since we have so
Yeah,
many tower
basically,
spots and the future of the game.
PA is probably
appears to
worried
be
that
tower
someone would
spots, just based
buy
on balance,
like
right?
an endgame player's time to help boost someone
Yeah.
else. They don't want them to
I
trade
agree,
money,
yeah.
basically.
Okay,
I
so
really agree.
let's talk about some other aspects of Edania. Specifically, let's go with like the bosses themselves. Now, I'll lead by saying I'm a little bit
bosses.
disappointed with the difficulty of the bosses. I guess that's all I'm gonna say. Is I feel a little bit disappointed by the difficulty. What are your guys' thoughts on Enslar and Kafris and all these other bosses? Like, what were your
I don't know
guys'
anything about
perception?
Kafris. Like not that many people.
Do you want to make it so we go like across, I guess? Like Grim, Hugh, myself, then Janae?
Yeah, sure. We
Make
could.
sure we get everyone.
We could do that for sure. Yep. So Grim, what was your perception of these bosses? How did you feel about them?
Well, do you remember when we had the main story in Adraxia, where it was actually kind of difficult to do the main story? I would have liked to have seen that in Edania, where the bosses were actually a challenge, but obviously not too hard. They were like around the gear you would be entering Edania. But it's very disappointing to have these very like important, inspiring characters to just be flicked and fall over. It's very
Yeah, like important in the lore of the game.
Oh, absolutely. Like Kafris is supposed to be just the shit, but he's just shit.
So something that I've heard that a point that a lot of people have made, and a point that I've heard prevailing from a lot of sources, is actually if these bosses were too hard, then that would mean that players would have to do this weekly thing that they were going to struggle with every week because it's required for gear progression. Is there like a way that could be overcome though? Like how could you overcome those bosses being too difficult versus like being required for gear progression?
I mean, we know like
I mean, you just have
Hercules
scaling difficulties, right?
struggled
You have a
like
normal mode,
crazy.
which is just you want your piece of Adana, GG's. But if you want like actual rewards, then there's a hard mode, just like how they did go in the Magnus.
Do you guys think there should be a hard mode?
Okay.
That's an interesting
So you're
question.
saying basically make the current version of the bosses drop, say, let's just use Kafris as the example. Let's say the current version of Kafris drops 5 pieces of Adana, but if you wanted to get both rewards and the 5 pieces of Adana, you could do like a hard mode version that makes it actually difficult. Like kind of
Absolutely. Makes it a lot more accessible.
Yeah, because you definitely need difficult content to be rewarded, or else, like MMO players, maybe this is my own
I don't know if I totally agree with
projection,
that.
but I
Hard's kind of a
find
relative
that
term,
sometimes
right?
my enjoyment of the of content has everything to do with whether or not I perceive it as efficient. I don't enjoy actively wasting my time. And so if something is worth to do, it feels rewarding to do. And so if they just made like a hard version of the boss just so you could kill it and say, haha, I killed the hard version of the boss, that wouldn't be nearly good enough. I think that there has to be a reason that you're going and trying and putting in multiple attempts and spending the billions of silver in lost time you could have been grinding or in resources to utilize in order to lose all your perfumes every attempt. Like, I would love to see that difficulty scaled up on these bosses hardcore, for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, even if you're doing the boss as your weekly boss, they're even not that difficult.
I just don't know if
We
like
just have a
rewards
hard
should
motivation
scale
on
with
those two.
it, right? Like,
Yeah.
should we scale it down to armor
What do you think
stones?
of that?
I don't. That's my big
Hugh?
question.
What are your thoughts on these bosses?
The Hugh take.
Oh, he's muted. You are muted right now, Hugh. If you didn't know.
Oh, sorry. Personally, I don't like bosses a lot.
Okay.
And because it wasn't boss game, right? If you played this game quite a lot, there was no bosses in this game, right? For almost like 10 years, right?
Yeah.
After Land of the Morning Light, they tried to push us to play boss, and it was buggy and it wasn't well balanced for many months, right? So I wish that they make a more option, not other than bosses, because a boss is like gated and feels like homework now. You have to play that every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's right.
I actually
So,
do agree with you on that. I'm really not a big fan of weekly lockout content, but I also will say that I think that these bosses could have been a lot more... They could have been a lot more streamlined to be something that's repeatable. There is actually a lot of games where you can go and kill bosses over and over and over again, and as you get better at them and more efficient at them, you can make solid money and potentially competitive, or maybe even if you're really good, better money than what you would make grinding. But the thing is that they're accessible and they're farmable. And it's just like another version of PvE, where instead of it just killing waves of monsters, you're actually having to fight one opponent. And I would like that approach more to bosses, because I would agree that doing my Sangoons and doing all this other stuff, it does feel like homework, especially when it becomes easy. But yeah, just like the weekly lockout thing, I wish they would have scaled it better. And this was when Land of the Morning Light came out, the first Land of the Morning Light came out. You have no idea. I was so vocal about the fact that these bosses should be repeatable. Like, the fact that they ever came out as a weekly boss, they needed to be so much more repeatable and be something that you can farm and a alternative to grinding. And I don't know, they never really went that route because I feel like they were just too busy being Lost Ark. Something. I don't know.
It's kind of painful.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's wrong.
I think they're just copying, following the meta. Like all the MMOs are based on dungeon or bosses, right? I think they're just following the meta, global meta, like all just like other MMORPGs now, and losing their identity. That's what I feel.
Yeah. What would you say Black Desert's identity is?
Open world and not many limited content like bosses and grinding. That's what they are good at it, right? And bosses, this game never made for bosses. From what I know, many KR people wanted dungeons at first when video first released like 8 years ago, 10 years ago. But they said they have no plan to make dungeon, no plan to make bosses. But at some point they made it, right?
Yep.
So it was never made for that content, and they're pushing us to play that content, and that's why it isn't that much fun to play compared to other games. Boss content, only boss content, not that fun to play compared to other games. Boss content. We do it for reward only, right? Reward. I'm pretty sure not many people started this game for bosses and having fun with the bosses.
So you said that BDO is like open world and BDO is like more of a grinding game. Maybe this could be like, does anybody have any more comments about these bosses? Namiko, did you want to talk about it? Janai, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I can input. I see my opinion is a little bit different because I actually enjoy the idea of weekly content. Like I enjoy grouping with like my friends for like you clear the bosses and stuff like this. The same as if I was like mythic raiding in like World of Warcraft or something like that. You meet up with your members in the guild and then you clear the content for the week and then you're pretty much done, right?
It's like the bosses are good.
Like how I've kind of had MMOs over the years. That's
Making
like
it a
how
weekly
I've
is
kind of got
bad.
used to it. It's a very different approach.
That's where I
like
learned.
Hugh said, it's not something that Pearl Abyss has kind of designed Black Desert around originally. But I think because of the way of how the player base is like kind of developing, because the player base now is very different to the player base that we had when like the game first came out, right? Like we can look at this in terms of like open world content. Like a lot of the time before, like I know myself, I used to love open world like PvP and interactions in the open world and stuff like that, but more so it's I've like kind of itched across closer to like instance based content and things like this. So I don't know if it's just like a personal thing for me as I've changed, as I more have played the game, or if it's just the direction that PA's taken. It's kind of like like pigeonholing us in a certain way because of the way the content's being created, or if it's just the way that the community is kind of like developed over time, like over the last few years and stuff like that.
Yeah.
True.
I think that weekly content also kind of serves a purpose in that if it is better than anything you could do with your time, it is a sort of a catch-up mechanic for people that have less time to actually play the game.
That's
So
true.
that is fair.
That's a pro.
Good morning, Verdict.
Hello there, Verdict.
Doesn't it serve the
Oh,
opposite
whoops.
purpose though?
No
Does
problem.
it
You
serve
haven't missed
the
very much. We're
opposite
just actually
purpose,
talking
though?
about... I'll catch you up to speed here. So far we talked about the
Gameplay's
Grindspots in Edania.
reason to
And we're just
push.
talking about the bosses in Edania regarding their difficulty
New
as well as
gameplayers
whether or not like
can never
weekly bosses
catch
are
up.
kind of like a chore or not, or whether they're good for the game or...
I'm just providing real
surrounding that
takes,
topic.
guys.
Yeah, honestly, I find them very boring. Meanwhile, even the Edania bosses, they feel so outdated, even though they just came out. But the problem is, once you reach the gear goal for these bosses and you do them, you kind of start skipping mechanics because the thing is that they're not like, as Troy said already, they're not very hard anymore, like you do them and then you do them, takes like 2 minutes to do them. I don't know, all you need is just you damage them and you don't have to learn any mechanics when you do these bosses. Another thing too is I find the loot of these bosses, they're supposed to be kings and queens of castles. Why is the loot so bad?
Like 200 mil.
Like, is it just me? Like, I find the loot so bad compared to the fact that these are kings and queens of the castle.
We should be getting like 10 bill a week or something.
Big, but the bosses itself is not big. Another thing too is since they changed the whole AP, monster AP, how it calculates and the offhand, yeah, you do dungeons and the dungeons are not even worth to do, to be honest, but me and Choice, we cannot do them anyways because we enjoy group content. It's kind of the only group content that we have left in this game, but we don't do it for the money because the money is so bad. You get base Bazi for a run that takes like, I don't know, like 40 minutes when you do all dungeons, or 30 minutes, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The rewards definitely...
You skip all
didn't really
mechanics
scale.
there, rewards are bad, and there's no boss anymore in this game. It seems like anywhere competitive. Even Sangoon, people do Sangoon C10 meanwhile in 2 minutes.
It's not very uncommon for video games and MMOs that have bossing to ultimately have much, much easier content to complete over time. But normally that's because they replace it with something else. Like normally there is a Act 2 of a certain update and it maybe made the Act 1 bosses much easier. but there's also new Act 2 bosses. And BDO, it kind of has the issue with bossing where every time they've ever made anything difficult to do, they have never made the rewards good enough, and less people do it because the rewards are not very
I
good.
talk about this
And
a
then
lot, don't
it
I?
almost feels like
I feel like I
EA
tried
is
to.
judging like, oh man, we made Deposed Crown Prince, and there's only 100 people in the entire world that ever did it, and people must just hate doing difficult bosses. But in reality, Deposed Crown Prince was as easy as a freaking Uturi that dies in 2 minutes. So why would anybody go through the trials and tribulations and efforts to kill a more difficult boss if the reward didn't match the effort required?
I can feel Blondbear
And
screaming right
the
now.
reward really...
It's just,
it's
it's unfortunate, right, guys? Like,
if a difficult piece of content
they've
takes
never
12
done
hours
anything
for you to
about
learn
this,
and complete your
ever.
first kill, that
Like,
that boss
ever.
should pay itself back in the weeks to come. It should be worth like $1 billion or $2 billion more than the second.
You're right, though,
the
Dad. They need some
highest
mid-game
boss.
people
If that
talking.
next highest boss falls over in 2 minutes and takes you one YouTube guide to watch in order to be able to beat it. Like, difficulty has to be rewarded if they're going to make these bosses more difficult. But I think that there should be an accessible version of all these bosses. But I really, really crave a difficult version where the rewards make sense for the people that want that type of content. If they're going to make it anyway, why make these bosses such a pushover?
Absolutely.
And I also don't think that
there
it's
is-
that hard to scale that. Like, just make it do more damage and maybe have a couple more mechanics. Like, wouldn't be that bad.
People just don't want to put the investment in.
Definitely,
Yeah.
it's there are issues with. I would say, Edania's
Podcasts have
requirements
boosted deck people.
definitely do not match the difficulty, but at the same time, you know, Perlibis. Okay, let me just rewind back. About a year, maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, I spoke how precisely they're going to do what they're doing right now. They're going to put on the 5% AP caps. They're going to be introducing this do a spot, reach the cap. Once you reach the cap, move to the new spot because it's going to be new money. Essentially, they're going through a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 process of grinding spot instead of, hey, I just graduated to Vala. Got all of the black stars, got everything, and with a little bit of effort I could go DSR. You know, with that is never fun to have sit in one spot. I'm not sure what precisely they're trying to do with Edania literally requiring so much gear score and then you just finish the boss in no time.
It's empty.
Usually
It's
when you see something
soulless.
like this, there is something more planned, and it's just that there is no reason to introduce it right now. I promise you that probably when part 2 reaches out, because of the nature of part 1, they might introduce a harder version similar to Calamity Shrines. You know, when we have C7 peak, then they put C10 and the rest of that stuff. But, you know, Pluralists are not really dumb. They kind of see that the only reason people do C10 is because of the buffs in C7 and all of the other things. So
well, the
it's-
money's good for C10. Let's
it's
be
not
real.
the fun of the content itself. It's not the fun of. It's the necessity of. You know, we're video players. We measure everything in how much time it requires for it to be completed, and then how much silver that would be giving us. Like we do everything.
Yeah, progression
under the
is
premise
money,
of how much.
So
time
it doesn't. It's not that
Yeah.
surprising.
And yes, bosses are ridiculously easy, but personally, you know, it doesn't bother me despite the fact that I can still do only Jordan. So I'm not sure why. It just I don't think of them as the prime content. They're just an extra to Edania, which is very weird considering the setup. I'm totally with you guys.
Well, the prime content, right? The part of the conversation that you had missed here is talking about the actual grind spots themselves. And there was a big issue that many of us were kind of taking with, like, yes, the new grind spots are actually kind of interesting compared to what we had in old grind spots, but they all relatively feel pretty much the same, right? They kind of feel like they all have this tower-esque grind. You kill a bunch of squishies, you kill a couple of elites, and then you kill a boss at the end. So a lot of these grind spots feel very similar in that. So if the premier content for this region was the grind spots, like, why are all the grind spots the same? And also there's just like differences in what players are interested in. I still feel like even if the bosses aren't a focal point in what they wanted the content to be, it does not take much for them to. They create incredibly good animations. They create incredibly good bosses. They're really cool in their design, but then they just fall flat in that the bosses are so incredibly squishy. They don't have any sort of mechanics that require you to dodge or you die. They're just all very much
Easy to say on a
they're just
850
super
DR
watered
class.
down bosses that could easily have a hard mode version that would make that content actually good. And all you'd have to do is just scale the rewards and scale the difficulty. Like, it's a very low hanging fruit that I feel like even if it's not a focal point, they really should just utilize. And to the point that you were saying too about like PA
it's
having
full
the,
deck.
like a more fuller picture.
The
It
irony is not
true.
lost
Whenever
on
a new
me.
region releases, it's very oftentimes filled with a bunch of dead content on day one. And that's kind of a Pearl Abyss problem in my mind because they should really plan.
Yeah, I mean,
better
I get
in
one shot
regards
at
to their
Orbita still.
content releases.
I mean, if I go
the
back to
fact
that boss with
Land
full,
of the Morning Light 1 comes
you know,
out,
450,
and all it was a
DP.
quest line. It was
it's
a,
crazy.
you know, it was a getting the adventure journals done. You would explore a couple new nodes and stuff. You do your boss split stories. It was until like way after the fact that they ended up adding in like grinding spots and real reasons for people to want to be in that region. But a lot of the time you start a new region, you just end up leaving the region within 1 week because there's nothing left to do. So to PA's credit, like there is at least stuff to do past a week in Edania, but there could be more based on the work that they've done with the bosses. How do you guys feel about the gear progression in the game? Like, do you guys feel motivated to get more gear? And if so, what's your motivation?
I am.
I can go with this as well because I've like kind of just recently returned back to the game.
Hmm.
And I'm kind of like quite far behind in terms of gear. The Edana for me, like the new Grindspots and stuff like that, and all the additional things. I think as Jinai said earlier, like the the side upgrades, like your hands, your artifacts, your amplified, all these kind of things. All this was like a pretty big motivator for me to try to get back into the game. So the only thing is with the gear progression is I think because of the way it currently is,
They need to make
like
Huehotbar.
that you mentioned earlier with like Debo price right now, being like the worst it's like ever been. This
By
is
far.
enabling like people to purchase Karazads and stuff like this, which gives them big like spikes of gear progression. But then I'm a tad worried right now that people might be hitting this like soft cap wall, well this like hard cap wall maybe.
They're
how you
already
wanna do
hitting it.
depending on the player.
Already hitting
Where
it.
they've gained these like large amounts of progression, and now they've got to get these sovereign weapons up. And right now, sovereign weapons with the current state of them, you could even argue potentially Tet armor for people coming back to the game as well, is kind of in a rough situation right now because the Boricas are so accessible, and the state of Tet armors and sovereign weapons themselves are just not as accessible.
Yeah. I would agree. There's definitely a huge flaw going on with the actual gear progression of the game regarding like sovereigns and armors and Karazads. We can definitely talk deeper about that, but I'm also just mostly focused on for this part of the gear progression thing is just, do you feel like you are feeling motivated to get that more gear? What like you're looking forward to just unlocking the new Grindspot content? Like, do you
I mean,
think
if that's
that a
your
lot of
motivation,
players feel
guys,
motivated with,
that
like,
burns
getting
out
more
in, what,
gear
20
right now
hours?
because it feels like it unlocks valuable content for them?
If it's a PvE player, I think that there is motivation initially for when you see the new grind spots and you're like, oh, this is a pretty nice grind spot. But I think circling back around to what you said before, where realistically the grind spots are very like similar in Edania. But for me personally, it's PvP focused. So,
Yeah.
but a PvE player, I can definitely see being in a situation where they've gone from Jordan, like you said, they've gone through the Naga spot, they've gone through Orbita, and then it's like a very similar trend
Toby
kind of
asking
thing.
for
So it might be
more
not as motivating for them.
rotation.
But I only can speak from my own point of view, which is because I'm motivated for PvP wise. So
Okay. What do you think, Hugh and Janai? You guys haven't really commented too much yet on the gear progression side here. What do you guys feel gear progression wise?
Yeah, there's a definitely a problem because even I saw many KRP players are complaining about it. There's no content to play, even if you have good gear. just like what you are saying, a lot more lava frog or same
Yeah.
bosses over and over. But that's, I think, a very like a few endgame players problem, because most people don't even have Nove, right? Don't even have Nove, and right now, I think gear progression problem happened because the game became too much pay to win. Pay to win is more efficient than before. Many people swipe, even in KR, they swipe a lot,
I'm
and
glad someone brought up pay to
they
win.
got good gear, endgame gear in day one.
Yo, it took us an hour and
first
20
month,
minutes to get
like
to pay to
that.
win. That's crazy.
So I think that
Paid
made
actors,
gear
paid
progression
actors.
happen. And for endgame players, not only just a mid game or
Get the torch
beginner
out.
players,
Fight,
they have to
fight, fight.
prepare some content to compensate them.
Pay
They
to
swipe money or
win.
they spend money or they were super lucky, right? I think they have to prepare some content, more challengeable grinding spot or some interesting boss, not same boss, or
He just dropped
something
like
to
20 good
upgrade,
takes back to back.
maybe new gear.
I hope
It's
someone's
definitely
listening.
not motivating as a super endgame gear.
What is it that they could? So you mentioned earlier, Hugh. You were saying that
Mhm.
BDO should stick to the open world grinding aspect of the game,
Amen.
as like that's what it's always been good at. What do you think
So
that they
true.
could add that would be more motivating? Because me personally, if they just continue to add another grind spot that requires 400 AP and 460 DP, I'm not motivated. Like I don't care what kind of grind spot it is. Like that's not really going to be something that's I'm going to like super look forward to. But do KR players and even yourself, do they share some of the same sentiment that like things like Altar of Blood or things like the 100 floor dungeon, or like they
If we had a
mentioned
bingo
Castawater
card,
of the Deep,
we're hitting it all
or
right now.
They mentioned stuff like Thornwood Castle, or like there was things in the game
How did all these
that
things
were
just
kind of
disappear
PvE
too?
related, where you're still killing monsters, but there's an objective. You're preventing your tower from dying. You're trying to do something that's not just nothing, which is what most grind spots are. Do you think that that type of stuff would be
BDO Altric Valley, guys.
popular in KR? Like, do you think you would like that kind of content?
I checked the Korean community about that, and what I saw was
War the
even
Roses.
some KR people want like Altar
Pretty
of
shoddy, though.
Savage Rift. Not a lot, very few, but I saw that they talk about it. And some people talk about even PvP back to use the PvP again, the word deck, one-sided word deck, to use their gear, to flex their gear. That's what
You
some
guys see
people
this guy's
want, but
comment?
even KR people
Holy.
don't know what they want, I think. It's just they all saying what they want, not what most people want. Even I'm not sure
Deck
what
weapon
most
went
people want,
$4.99.
but
Yo,
I
grats
think,
there, Darth.
you
got it, dude.
To make satisfy us.
Is that
with
like
a good gear
130, 140?
is like
It's
a
rough,
new
but
item
grats.
or rare item to progress more. Back then, like devils were hard to get, right? You get one
Hey,
per every
107,
3
nice,
hours,
nice.
Ash and Creep, something like that, right?
Yeah.
But now we are getting all the items like devils 2 per hour at Orzakia. We have a lot of devils on the marketplace, so even we cheer, it doesn't make you happy because some devils are only 200 mil. I think it's a little better after Edania because we got Crystal and Artifact. But I think those items, you need only one, right? It's not for you, it's for other players after you get 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4. That's for other players, just for silver again, right? You can still progress your gear after you got it. I think that's the problem. PA should make us endgame player should progress something more than other player. I think that will make endgame players us more happy.
You love Hugh.
Even after
His
they
points are good.
get good gear.
I see.
Choice is distracted.
That was a good answer. Sorry.
No, it's a good answer. Yeah. So, you know, they mentioned that 100 floor.
You can hear the distraction in his
where It
voice.
has like 100 floors, and there's
He shouldn't
like,
be grinding.
different difficulty
If he was really
level, and
serious,
you
he
have to,
wouldn't
like,
grind.
progress up, and it's supposed to be challenging. Does that
Hot
sound
take.
at all interesting to you personally?
Actually, when I heard the first floor, 100th floor,
always
it
is
will like
turning.
reminded me another bosses again. They didn't say bosses, but it just reminded me. I think there will be bosses again. I don't think it will be grinding a dungeon. I think there will be definitely bosses. And another bosses, we already do party boss, attraction boss, boss bliss boss, and Rusalka Edania boss,
And Edania.
and 100th dungeon again. So I wasn't that much excited about that, but depends on how they make it.
Hopefully it's mostly PvE, not as much
Okay.
as like
We don't know anything about it.
I want
so
scaling fights
that's
of
what
lots
I-
of monsters.
what I
Not
can.
yeah, not
say
like
about it.
just
Let's
bosses.
do something interesting here. Let's go around each of us and say, what would be one update from a PvE perspective that they could add? So a brand new piece of content that they could add that you would be very motivated to want to get gear for. So let's go with I guess let's go with in order here. So Grim, what piece of content could they add that would make you
Can I
motivated
say something
to
quick
get...
before we go to
Yeah,
that?
sure, yeah.
Because otherwise I never get to.
It is a good
speak.
question.
Yeah.
So as someone who has 2 800 gear score accounts, I wanna drop something quick, and that kinda, I don't find it right. It seems like that this game main content is based on gear progression, and I find this so wrong, to be honest. It's so unmotivating. Like, they keep adding new stuff to the game. It has been like that since years. They keep adding new gear pieces to the game. Deboricas were new, Black Stars were new, and
Yeah, she's right.
it's just a story that repeats. It's like a train that never stops.
Yeah,
you
shifting
start
ladder.
with the game, you
That's what
get
we
your
call it,
gear,
a
then,
shifting ladder.
then you reach the end game.
Because
Then
what was good
they add
becomes
more
medium,
gear to the game,
and what's medium
then,
becomes
you're not
bad.
end game anymore, and then you get even more gear to grind on spots where you get even more silver, and then they keep adding more gear to the game and more bosses to the game. Then you get even more gear pieces, more crystals, more artifacts, more stats, and in the end, this gameplay loop has no content, in my opinion. And this is what I see here as a big issue. Like, instead of actually bringing actual game modes, I want to play this game not just because of progression. I want to play this game because I want to enjoy this game and not feel forced like, oh, I need to have this and this and this to enjoy this and this content now. This feels so wrong, I completely hate on that. So
Okay.
I don't know.
I think my
This is my
answer.
opinion.
That transitions really well. Like,
I got
guess
my
I'll ask you
answer.
first. What could they add to the game that would make the gameplay loop
They
better
should
for you?
add game modes. They did already a good step into the right direction with the hardcore server, to be honest. That when you go into a server and you can compete with other players, when you die you lose your entire gear. This is they should actually focus on game modes: Savage Rift, Altar of Blood, Shadow Arena, PvP modes, and not just grinding. And oh yeah, the silver is kind of down now.
I
And
think
the
every
only
new
way
region
to
that they
progress
add-
even faster is only pay to win. Like,
They need to add like 2 or 3 treasures.
Okay. So you think that more
At
they should
at
add more
least
real
2.
game modes.
At least 2.
Game modes that are not based on gear progression and
Game
that
modes are
not,
cool, but they're
Oh, so you don't want the game modes to scale with your
like
gear
a
at all.
game mode every 2 years would be cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say it's bad.
Oh, really? So, okay, but I guess the question is what can they add to the game that would make gear progression feel like it's worth it to want to get more gear, though?
They should add more things like, I was really fine with the fact that when we got boss splits, they did a really good job with boss splits. I really loved boss splits, and that you actually need gear for boss splits and the gear requirements for boss splits. I really like this fact too. Like, add some more group content, and then I will be fine with that.
Okay.
Can I just interject on that? Just a little question regarding it. Do you like the do you like the like Kafris boss and like Enslar boss and stuff like that then? With the gear
These
requirement?
ones, they're too easy. That's the problem. That's why I don't like them. They're way too easy, and they're also solo. I find solo bosses kind of boring.
So you like group bosses.
Yeah, group related stuff where you have to be in voice together and tactical make plans how to defeat this boss. You know, this is
Yeah.
way more interesting than just a solo encounter.
Have we ever had challenging PvE content in this
Namiko,
game?
you were gonna say some more stuff, but let's.
I feel like it's just
you
we
wanna say
brute
something
force
and then
it
tell us
until
what
we
you
figure
think
it
would be
out,
your
and then it
ideal
becomes easy very
motivator
quickly.
to wanna get more
And then we
gear scoring
trivialize
to
how
add to the
difficult it
game
ever was, and we
plan
forget that it was ever
from a
hard.
PvE perspective.
From a PvE perspective, mine would be purely some kind of competitive mode in some manner. Like something that says you're this good on this class, or this person's this good on this class. Like similar to what the the shrine bosses have, but something that is like actually competitive. It isn't just like weekly resetting. Like something that
Guys,
gives,
my
like,
real
titles or
answer, though,
cosmetics or something that gives like
It's not
some
just
kind of
treasures.
drive
I've talked about it
to make
before,
you want to
but
push.
it's
for it,
turning
right? Like,
BDO into
in that
RuneScape
manner. So,
5.0
Does that even have to
There's
be
something
by
competitive.
adding numbers to
like,
frickin'
what if they just
everything.
made competitive where
Give
it's
us
like
weekly,
most amount of
daily,
cash
monthly
per hour in
leaderboards,
an hour of this grind spot,
everything.
or is it something more than that?
Drop logs,
No,
tasks,
it's
area
essentially some
tasks.
competitive element. I think competitive
Unlocks
element gives like
everything.
rise to motivation
Every
for a
area
lot of
can have
people, at least
new
myself.
unlocks.
You
So
know, if I
much.
can see that, let's say, I can compete with like other people on some kind of goal or like some kind of objective, like whether it's solo or party, just something that essentially gives like a leaderboard like status in some way. I think
They're
it's a
kind of
very
talking
good
about what you
motivator for
mentioned,
people,
ironically.
myself included.
Okay. How about you, Verdict? What do you think would motivate you, or are you currently motivated? Because I know that you have, I think, the least gear. And are you motivated to want to get more gear in the current state of the game, or is there something more that you would like to have to make you feel more motivated to make that push?
I'm in a different predicament than all of you, and that's because I still progress. But I take everything that Namiko said and just double it, literally double it. I think a year ago I made a video about precisely what Blast Desert needs for the player that is at the extreme end game. And that video was all about, let's make us players, provide ourselves with the opportunity, custom made. I even pitched the idea to Scout, and let's make a grind cup for every class.
They have a fishing
Let's
leaderboard,
have
it's
us
true.
record who the best is at grinding with the current gear score, and let's just have this competitive approach, because let's be honest, when you're at that 5% AP cap, the only thing left is, okay, how more perfect can I play so
Optimization,
I
class.
continue to optimize?
Yeah,
And if you,
he's right.
if you tie a social aspect to it, such as
Filter by class,
recognition
though.
over
Competition may be class
the
locked.
community, such as Choice right now is
Don't compare
grinding
me to
Zephyrus mobs,
an Awakened Nova
how much
when
better
it's
can
not fair,
he
right?
grind if he is at the cap? Because that's a competitive aspect, is what Namiko says. That personally would be
Yeah, he
a
did say that.
great motivator for me, because I'm a competitive grinder. And my biggest issue and grievance with Black Desert was I don't have physically the time to catch up to you guys, because I literally simply don't. And I want to see that. I really want to see a
Does the time
competitive
gate,
mode for
the
grinding
time
where
gate even help him?
inside this game, you
It
can
doesn't,
make
right?
a
It makes it worse,
recording,
does it
or
not?
the game itself could find a way to record.
The
and
time
put
gate
you
will
on the
keep
list.
people behind.
And it goes
That's
back
what I don't
to
understand about it.
The
It's
desire
gonna
for
hurt
Black Shrine world
non-competitive
ranking.
players more.
It's like, so you can see where you are. So
They'll
you
just
can
give the
have
the
that
tokens
clout,
away
you
in the
can have that
future,
execution for people to
which is
see.
basically just a middle finger to
I
people who
think
actually
this
play the
is
game.
the only true
I don't know.
motivator that you can have
It's kinda
once you
weird.
have the gear and you've completed it, in my opinion.
Okay. So not even necessarily new game mode, just more competition amongst.
You guys hear
current content.
Jordan's answer to this?
Introduce just that extra
A new
meaning for the
accessory
people that have already
that
gotten
requires a
to the
ton of
grind,
cron stones to
count.
enhance.
Like, that's it.
But
Can
it
I
only
guarantee
drops
right
from
now,
endgame spots.
Grind cap and gear progression are two very
you
separate
can whale
things.
it, but you'd have to grind it
that make,
first.
that's expected though. It has its own meaning in different ways, but I really want to see people push and strive.
Yeah, and you
for
can't
those
trade it, right? That's a very good
because
part
it's
of
what
that.
we
What's up,
do.
Jordan?
Everybody speaks on efficiency, and people kind of people kind of like to point fun at that efficiency, but it's what we chase. It's what we've always done. You get the gear so you're efficient, and once you get at the gear cap, the only thing that carries your efficiency is your skill with the class. And I think if we can record that, measure it, then this is so in the nature of Black Desert. It's like so BDO. I can't think of anything more BDO than this.
Okay. What about you, Grim? What do you think would be motivator for you? What kind of new content?
That was 11K to click. Hex is 3650.
About this subject.
Okay.
Yeah, but those are
personally
horrible
for me,
prices. The AP's not good.
I PvP a lot. PvP
This
is a
would be
huge
like
motivator for me, but what
a replacement,
I would like to see a return
upgrade,
of Altar of Blood,
an
and it's
upgrade
actually like
to
a
Deck
scaling
Carousel.
up PvE difficulty
That's the
like
whole
it
point.
was. So you want it to be in a way where you progress your gear, so
Like
you're
a
able to
side
do higher
grade.
tiers of Altar of Blood, and they could even introduce bosses to Altar of Blood. They could have Kappas be one of the stages, for example. So I'd like to see that, and people can competitive who can like get the highest tier. Like you
Good
can be
suggestion.
like, oh, it's that guy's group there. They
We're good though,
cleared
Jordan.
level
Thanks for
16, That's
asking.
crazy. What I would also like to see is the Gambit mode that they promised us in Audraxia, where you have you're killing the bosses and then you go and fuck with the other group and all that stuff. That's great. And I would also love to see a new mechanic, which would be like a influence of Hadoom to a region that changes every day, and that influence would allow Nighttime to be free for all PvP with 100% drop rate. And you know how when you grind Elvia Calphion, you have the like arena that spawns with the ogre and the cyclops, that kind of thing. I would love to see that as an open world like boss that people can fight over. So what I mean by this, in hardcore servers, you had
Not a bad idea.
the latent spawn and you had all that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
How sick would it be if
You
you
need better gear
a
progression
Hadoom
in order to
influenced
encourage
boss
this. So
spawn,
you need it.
and if you go into the arena, which is the same as the ogre spawn
If
arena,
gear progression's not
you
good, it
cannot-
just
you can only
becomes a
go
shit
in,
show.
and if you die, you cannot go in again. So you have everybody just congregating there. They're all grinding their stuff, and they're like, "Oh shit, the boss has spawned, dude! I want to go get it." You're all killing each other, and the guy last standing after 5 minutes gets claim on that boss, and that boss is like a guaranteed Deboreka, like a duo or something like that.
Yeah. These are all really cool ideas.
These are all things to flex your gear, make you want to push your progression because you're competing with other people. Like competition breeds excellence and all that kind of thing.
And we
I
had a similar
couldn't agree
thing
more.
back in the days with duel for spot. People's
true.
reason to get gear used to be because there were many people that asked you on your grind spot for duel for spot, and these people have most of the time a lot of gear, and so you kind of felt forced to get gear as fast as possible to compete with these players.
Yeah.
So we had something similar back in the days already.
Yeah, I just wrote in his chat, but
Yeah, duels were definitely motivated.
duel for spot
to
was
get
like
more gear.
95% of the
But,
time.
Yeah, just even
Like,
from like
even on
from a
Arsha,
PvE perspective.
Because people used
I
to
think
care about
that
progression.
I also crave that.
They used to
I
care.
really like leaderboard-esque type of stuff. Like Altar of Blood was my all-time favorite content, and I will forever go down as the rank 1 AOB player in NA because I had the most amount of I went through and did Altar of Blood dozens of times, every single wave, min-maxing where these waves spawn from, how to prevent the tower from taking any amount of damage. Like, practicing this stuff to get on some fictitious leaderboard was enough to keep me so invested in the
Fictitious
content.
leaderboard.
And it was just such a different
This is
vibe
why we
from
grind.
grinding, and it also had the excitement of getting up to like try and tet on armor and stuff that could be a big payday. So like the content was really, really fun and enjoyable.
Savage Rift, Matchlocks.
I really think too
Good
something
times.
that would lend itself really well to I think all types of players, and a piece of content that would be so good for BDO is something like in RuneScape 3 there's this game mode or this skill called dungeoneering, and ultimately what it is you are
RuneScape 3.
traveling along an unknown dungeon, and as you open rooms there's monsters to fight.
It's crazy. He's
There's
quoting
fishing
RuneScape right now.
pools to gather food in order to make potions. Basically, you can imagine it's basically just you and 4 other players traversing through an unmapped dungeon, collecting resources that ultimately leads up to a final boss fight. So there's a life skilling aspect, there's a PvEing aspect of killing monsters.
Jordan
but
has
then
never done
ultimately
this,
leads to
but
a final boss, which you then must
it is a
kill.
fun-
And the
fun-
faster you do it,
The concept's
better your
good, but
rewards.
RuneScape was not the
So
game for
there's
it.
this a sense of eliteness.
He's
in
cooking right
that
now.
you can get better and better and faster times in doing these dungeons. They're all procedurally generated. The rooms are, say there's 20 different rooms and there's 64 different, say, blocks of what
You
rooms
talking
can
about like
occur.
Chambers of
So
Zarek,
every dungeon
Toby?
is unique because you could get multiple of the same room in a row, or you could get a bunch of different ones. But ultimately, it's just
Yeah.
like a really, really
100%.
cool sort of PvE
100%.
life
I'm not
skilling
disagreeing with that.
game mode that ultimately leads to a final boss that has a lot of skill expression and ultimately is just a spin on grinding and bossing.
It'd
but
be
it's
sick.
Repeatable.
It'd be
And I feel like
sick
that type of
if
content
it
could be
took
very
life
motivating to wanna
levels.
get more
Like,
gear. And it wouldn't
if
even get
someone
me
in the
life
group
skilling
has
because,
G50
say, certain
cooking,
you need
they
certain
can cook like some
guru
high tier
requirements
food.
in order to
Yes!
make this certain like guru
Yes!
alchemy in order to make this certain
That's literally
potion,
what I was
and
saying.
only one of
Choice
your
knows.
mates has
He
guru
knows.
alchemy. Well,
That
if
would
you
be
would have
really
had guru
sick.
alchemy as well, you could have made that potion instead of having to call that guy way over to you.
That is what Chambers of Derek does, right?
Like that
Like
whole
different
game
tiers of
mode,
rewards based on how good your life
it
skills
could be a
are.
really, really solid motivator for
And
me
push
to
them
wanna get
really
more
far. Like
your
throw a
score
G75 in
and
there or
want to
G90,
make
like
myself even
just
more
put
life
it there.
skiller in order to,
And like
get
make the
involved in that
rewards
type of
like
content.
scale like crazy if people
who
have
have
the
we-
in-game
Absolutely.
shit.
Who have we
Oh,
not,
that would be so
spoken
good,
about
dude.
Motivator-wise here.
That would be
Is it
insane.
just Hugh?
What about Verdict? Did he say something already about it?
Yeah, he was mentioning the
Yep.
leaderboards and like grind competitions amongst
Oh, yeah,
players.
true,
and-
true. Yeah.
Grind competition's a
So,
great
Hugh,
idea. It's so simple.
What would
People
be your
love that
big
stuff.
what's gonna motivate you to
They
get
could
to
do all
900
these
gear
things. They
score?
really
What
could.
do you need to see?
Something to progress, I think. Sorry, what was
Something
the
to
question again?
progress.
One more time.
So yeah, the question revolves around what is the ultimate content that they could add to this game that would motivate you to want more gear progression?
One, two more progression.
Yeah, like something that would make you very motivated right now to want to progress towards. Like what's going to make you grind 10 hours a day for the next 6 months because you really want this or really like doing this?
And dungeoneering
For
in
me,
BDO
I'm not
is-
sure
is
how other
crazy.
people think about it, but for
Such
me,
a good idea.
make a difference, make a gap between players, making gap like for example, upgrading gear
Mm-hmm.
or maybe new treasure item, something like that. But we are missing
he's not
many
wrong.
of those things, right? No treasure for more than like 2 years.
Yeah.
There's life skill treasure, but no PV treasure more than 2
No
years.
PV treasure and like
And we cannot upgrade the items
Yeah.
after you get like
I guess
deck weapon because
telescope sucks, guys. I don't know. It's like barely even a treasure.
Okay.
I think.
So you
But he's
wanna-
right. He's
yeah.
right. He's right.
You want
Yeah,
more
something
things
to
upgraded
progress,
gap
yes.
between players. Okay.
Yes.
So I think that this is a perfect transition into the next topic.
How
which
many
is
topics, yo?
monetization
We're
and
like almost 2 hours
boxes
in.
And pay to win.
Oh god.
Oh
So-
gosh.
If they were to add more progression into the game, and let's say they uncapped armors completely, and now people could just
I need to get
tap
grinding when he
per
talks
deck
like this.
endlessly.
Wow.
I feel like it is very damaging how much free access to pay to win there is in these new gambling boxes. Ultimately, I've done the math, and you can pay to win.
Ooh, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear it.
In the last 2 months, you could have purchased 20 trillion silver worth of crown stones if you utilize the cooldowns of the 15 gamble boxes per bundles. And for reference, for anybody that's not well versed in how much stuff costs, 20 trillion silver is more than twice what I've worked for in the last 8 years of playing this game.
Yeah,
And
that's stupid.
they could have done that in 2 months. So in the past, you used to be restricted with your pay to win by doing like 20 to 35 costumes depending on your family fame per week.
2018,
And
they
it
added
used
the ability
take
to melt.
roughly 1
Not until
year of pay to
2018
winning to reach
could
the
you melt.
current gear score that I had at that time. And that was a hard lock 52 weeks. You could never really get there faster unless you were doing either inefficient things or you were, just very lucky. But now players
Artisan
can get my
memories
gear
have been around for a long
in
time,
3 weeks
Toby,
flat.
right? Do you have other arguments?
And I feel like that is a massive, massive blow to the motivation that I feel to want to get more gear and to play the game, is that if the content is nothing but grinding to get more gear, I should go grind a real life job to get more gear. That's way faster than fighting mobs. And I think that that's so damaging to how unrestricted pay to win is in this game. And I'm just wondering if you guys feel the effects of that. And especially Grim, you are a free-to-play player. So when we get over to your...
when we change the crystal system, the equipment are in
intently
coupons.
curious how you
Oh,
feel
people
as a
just
free-to-play
like
player.
sent the coupons,
But,
huh? That's
yeah, does
nasty.
anyone want to take the reins first about what they feel regarding gamble boxes? Or have I scared you? Were you unaware of gamble boxes, how overtly overpowered they are? And I'm just like making note of that? Or were you guys feeling it too? Like, who wants to go first here?
I wouldn't like to go first, but can I ask a question? Like, on your math, how much was it for the trillion?
Yeah, the
of silver?
dollars.
Like,
Thank
how
you
much
for
silver
asking
was
that
it?
question.
For 10 trillion silver, it would cost you $28,000. Which $28,000 is a lot of money, but in order to grind
8 years of his life. I
10
mean,
I'll actually just do the math right now for you because it's going to be
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
So 10 trillion silver, and we're assuming that we're grinding for like
it's a lot of zeros.
that might be more than that. So that's 10 million, that's 10 billion,
It is
10
his
trillion.
job.
Divided by, let's say we make 3.2 billion per hour.
It's like someone investing $28,000 into the company
125
that pays your salary.
So if we take
If you want to use the
$28,000
analogy
and
from
divide it by
Lurking, he's saying it's his job, though.
You're essentially grinding for $9 an hour. That is how much your time is worth in Black Desert.
There are worse numbers out
So,
there. There's worse
$9
numbers out
an hour.
there.
I don't know about you guys, but in the past,
Some games
when I
are
did this
way worse
calculation
than 9.
2 years ago, it
15
was
or
$33 an hour.
33.
And within 2 years, our time has been cut by less than more than
That
a
is
third.
painful, actually.
And that is what our time is worth in this game with these gambling boxes.
Moment of silence.
Oh boy.
Right. I have a hot take on this.
Imagine
Alright.
2 years. Ooh, hot takes.
Go, Namika,
What do we
sorry.
got?
My hot
No,
take
no, no.
is a little bit
Go ahead.
too hot right now.
No, I'd love to hear it. Go ahead.
So I feel, and this could be my ignorance.
Gotta use the
to-
soundboard more.
At the first time I hear right now what Troy said, by the way, that gamble.
Oh, I got one
boxes
for
are so
Jordan, by
OP.
the way.
To me, of course, EU players, this
Later,
probably
later.
doesn't truly apply for us because we're a region that has it more expensive. I think we actually have it the most expensive. Somehow in PA's mind, $1 is worth €1, and that's simply not true. So in
not
our
true.
case, this is very different.
Huh,
I think
I didn't know this.
Namiko might agree with me on that. We're not as impacted, but I have a hard time going around this argument.
You don't
because
see how they go back,
most
says
people
Toby.
present it from the standpoint of pay to win is bad, but in reality, what they mean is pay to win is bad because I don't benefit from it. So I can agree with people on one thing. The first thing most of us probably thought, and I even have a video about this explaining it thoroughly. What Karazats did to the game was shift to the mutual beneficiary of Cron Stones being purchased through outfits instead of those being sold. So the person who paid to win gets silver, and we also benefit from the person who paid to win by getting cheaper crons. That was the mutual beneficiary from it.
Yep.
Right now, outfits are just simply into the possession of the person, and that is the issue with pay to win. So
Many of the crons are direct too, right?
But I wouldn't say that, having realistically being upset over a person who spends 20, how much it was? 28,000?
28,000, yep.
I don't think we're going to have more than 1 or 2 people from this, from EU, honestly. I just can't picture this being an issue, truly. And I can agree on to the fact that we're not benefiting as players from their pay to win. I think this is the issue more than the fact that they're pay to winning from their gear. Because let's be honest, they're probably shit at the game with that much spending. So it's like,
What?
That's my kind of hot take with it.
People can be good at the game and
Okay.
swipe.
Well, what is currently the minimum wage in Europe? Or like
Oh,
within your
dude.
country, let's say, or like within, I guess Europe is like too broad of a term, but
Around 13 euro, I think.
Want to hear for the people wondering? I'm from Bulgaria. The
Okay.
minimum wage hourly in Bulgaria is $2.90, I think.
okay.
What the
So from
fuck did
your
we just listen
perspective,
to?
it probably
I agree.
feels amazing
I really don't
getting
think he's right at
9 euro
all.
Per hour by grinding.
I wrote in his
Desert
chat like the
because
whole swipers are
otherwise, if
shit
you
thing is a
go and
fallacy.
take the most bare
Like
minimum
anybody,
job,
all the
you
choice
are probably not making more progression in that hour of, being a bartender, for example, or being
So it's a fair
on
point.
Amazon or whatever whatever
anyone can
job
swipe. That's the
exactly
whole point.
specifically is paying
Any
minimum
endgame player
wage.
can swipe a little bit a
But
week,
in lot of
20 a week,
countries,
100 a
like
week.
what Janai just said is in Germany.
Verdict is
or
like
in,
the anti-community.
say,
You
other
say,
parts
okay.
of the UK or Europe.
He's the anti-verdict.
Minimum wage is oftentimes going to be
I don't
higher
know.
than
I don't know.
€9, and by having such a
Yeah, but you still have
low-
no money
Instant
to pay
delivery.
to win because we have high taxes and people have family. They have to pay for food, and there's barely something left end of the
Yes,
month.
spending money equals
Yep.
shit player
No,
confirmed. Yeah,
that's
it's
totally
bogus.
fair. That's totally fair. But I feel as if pay to win going from what used to be €33 per hour is what you were earning essentially in value by grinding 2 years ago,
It's a good point. He's not
all the way
wrong
down
to
to
compare it.
9.
He's not wrong.
You can see how pay to win has crept up pretty hard. And it's pay to win. Pay to win has
It
crept
has.
up incredibly hard, and I also feel as if the player base hasn't been dwindling, nor has the quality of the updates gone up. It just feels like
Correct.
pay to win is going up for the sake of them working on other projects, and I truly feel like BDO's player base has not dwindled, and just basically what I just said. BDO player base has not dwindled. The quality updates, the frequency updates has not gone up. Where's all this extra money going? My only assumption can be that it is being pumped into other games, and it feels really, unmotivating to me that my time is worth less, all for the pursuit of something that's not benefiting me. If pay to win was 3 times as much, but we were getting 3 times as many updates, I would love pay to win, but oftentimes I feel like that's not the case, and it's very saddening that the value of an hour of grinding has dwindled so quickly because of these boxes, and it almost seems like they think that we're unaware of it. In the past, it used to be a very obvious thing when pay to win was going up. They would do a whole big announcement. They would say, "Hey guys, we're raising the cost of vendor crons.
The cost of crons would change, not the
And it
price
was
of
something that
outfits. They've
was
never done this before.
mutually beneficial to the
In
player,
years,
because
they've
now
never
more
ramped it
questions
like
are
this in
getting
such a
listed,
small
more
period.
people are able to buy them, and that's true.
Just
But
the last
even
6
if these
months.
gamble boxes were listable for silver,
It's like they
it still
specifically
is
need more
a
money
very
right now.
ramped up rate as to what we're used to. We're used to
It's
maybe
more of a spike, it almost
30%
feels like.
increase in pay to win
Going to
over
Doka
the course
V,
of a year,
it's just
not a
insane.
350% increase over the course of 2
I don't even
years.
want to hear it, okay?
Very, very
You're
high
probably
amount.
right, though.
And the amount of money that
You're
we're
probably
getting
right,
per hour
though.
really hasn't gone up that much to justify the fact that these gamble boxes are so powerful. So
Yeah, you know what not unmotivates me? Seeing people, like I work thousands of hours for my gear, thousands of hours, and then I see people who play maybe for 100 hours, have the same gear as me, but no idea about the game and act like they know everything, and that unmotivates me to get more gear in this game, to be honest.
Unmotivates,
I
yeah.
see
She's
that.
not wrong. It's a good argument.
I don't want to call names, but yeah, just not motivated.
Oh, now we want to hear the
Elaborate on
names.
Janai's point.
Now we want to know the
I
names.
have-
Wait,
I
who
have
is
an
it? Who is it,
acquaintance. I wouldn't
Ezra?
call them a
Are we talking about Urk?
by any stretch of the imagination, but an
Or we're talking about Blue
acquaintance. See,
Squadron. It should
while
be Blue
minimum
Squadron,
wage in
no?
Bulgaria is very, very low. The average pay is,
Yeah,
is
it's-
not that
it's
bad.
blue.
Of course,
Okay.
you cannot pay to
Jen
win
hates
in
blue.
Bulgaria.
Oh.
Just not just Bulgaria, Romania, Serbia, Greece.
It's getting better, Felix.
It's just
There was a
impossible
really
for
boring
people to
segment
unlock a
on
blue
lore
something like
earlier.
that.
It was just
It-
not
it's just
good.
too
I might even
expensive.
edit it
I
out of the
have-
VOD
I
that I'm
have
going to put on
an acquaintance of
YouTube.
mine who
was bad.
does very good for him.
But anyway.
And all of those outfit sales, oh baby, he buys and sells. Probably 35. He has that, and nothing brings me more joy than he's a Sork player, one of the worst Sork players I've ever seen in my life.
This guy.
Nothing makes me more happy than watching this guy have literally capped gear, because he is almost capped right now, and just sitting on the ground when I PvP against him with my Mystic. He just can't get up. it's just so, I don't think I understand the denomination.
I don't like this
of your
guy.
effort
No offense to
is
him.
a point which you're making.
Yeah,
No,
Verdict
at the
has.
same time, how
I don't like his
impactful
takes.
is actually this
I feel like
towards
what he's
the
saying
environment?
is not.
That is my
Anyway.
that is my question. If we're gonna say, okay, look at this this guy who's an absolute god in this game, and he's super wealthy.
He's like seriously
And he
lacking
purchases all of that.
humility.
Yeah,
Even if he's
it's
right.
like, I don't think it's.
Average
I'm not sure if
Mystic
this
Man,
is
yeah.
truly an issue.
Sounds
It's
like
just
it.
those players have little to no impact, and they never probably will have an impact. Probably that's a little bit of me. I don't know, man.
okay.
I think.
Elitist yapper.
Sorry to interject a little bit. I think it's still an issue that we should be concerned about because of like one or two people that aren't like mechanically
Respectfully,
able at the game, or
he's not who you want to
know,
listen
they
to when you're
pay
like
for
making
power,
decisions about
essentially,
building a
but aren't
game.
able to utilize it.
He has
think
no
it's,
interest in
I think
the good of the
point is that
game,
it's like a
for
slippery
sure.
trend right now, and how much it's increased. More so is the like concern, because it could be the fact that in like a few years' time, pay to win, goes up again, like another 300% or something like this, and we're in a situation where people feel the need to pay to win, which I guess is the original point, more so than how much people utilize it.
Average
on
Mystic,
the
I'll
app,
take.
so-
Should I write it?
Yeah.
Or am I misunderstanding choice?
No, you're totally you're hitting the nail on the head, and not only that too, right? But I think that the landscape of the pay to win, as was previously mentioned, I'm not sure who mentioned it though, but pay to win used to benefit the free to play players through costume sales. You would get access to cheaper crons. Now, because crons are the end all be all, it's what everybody needs. Nobody hardly sells costumes at all, and so everybody is just vendor cronning, and the people that are whaling are just purely whaling for just themselves. They're not providing any value to the overall marketplace. They're
There's
not
exceptions.
listing value packs for people.
There's
They're
a
not
lot of
listing,
outfits still going up, guys.
they're not listing Kama
Like,
Sylvia blessings. They're not
hundreds a
listing
day
Secret
on
of
an
the
A.
moons. They're not listing anything of value to anybody other than their greedy selves, and that's it. So, if Pearl Abyss thinks that the economy suggests that whaling should be to the degree that it's at, I really don't think that these gambling boxes should be nearly as widely available to purchase in such ridiculously high quantities. And they should make it where they relax the costume selling limit, or they make it much more beneficial to actually provide these types of Pearl items onto the marketplace for the free-to-play players. Because how
not
many
the solution.
people would
It's not
like
it.
to buy their value pack every single month for 6 billion silver, for example, or 7 billion, but they simply just can't because the cap is so low and the incentive for people to sell it is so low.
I don't
that
know.
nobody ever
There's a
does it.
very real problem, and like
So
this is just
I
like
would
a
really
weird
like to see
scapegoat.
PA be a lot
IMO.
more respectful in their pay to win
The problem
endeavors,
is
in making it where
the
if you're
scaling in
going
the
to have
boxes,
pay to win increasing,
the ramp,
if that is what
the
the
angle
game
of the
economy,
ramp.
like the game economy sometimes says, hey, you used to be making 20 mil an hour, now we're making 3 bill an hour. So obviously pay to win has to scale with that. Costumes have to be worth more on the marketplace because you're just getting more. Every single solitary second, I just created inflation by killing this pack of frogs because we're printing raw silver and there's more silver that is being vendored to through trash loot, and it's constantly inflating the marketplace or constantly inflating the game. So pay to win will have to increase over time. But if they're going to increase it, I think that they could do it in a lot more of a better way that benefits the free-to-play player some way, somehow. And it's not through these just ridiculous amounts of gamble boxes with just unrestricted
Yeah,
amounts.
I mean, obviously he's right.
Win.
Obviously true.
Problem is that rich get richer, and then there's the people that grind, and it doesn't feel rewarding because they nerf Orbiter and we get less money per hour. You know, we kind of feel forced to pay to win because it's kind of unworthy to grind in this game anymore, as you said. It's $9 an hour, so you kind of feel like, isn't it better that I save some lifetime and instead of grinding 10 hours a day and be
Dude in chat says the 23 players buying all the gamble boxes are the problem.
Just pay to win in this game, and then I'm done with gearing, done with the game. I completed the game.
He's
but
not
just
wrong,
pay
guys.
To win, you know what I mean? I mean, isn't their goal to keep us in their game? But with pay to win, they actually
Do you have 28k?
just
Because
get
I
our
don't. I
money
love that
and not
comment.
our time, you know what I mean?
It's true.
Yeah.
Is this
It's not
something
a-
I'd love to hear from Hugh? If this is something that KR share, because
Yeah, the pay to win's not the problem.
in my knowledge, they're very
The
different.
point
to
is not the
like pay to win.
28k. Yeah.
So I'd love to know your point of view, Hugh, on this.
Yes, we have a quite different point of
It
view
is the ratio.
in KR. We are more pay to win friendly than I think global players, because most other KR games are more pay to win friendly than
He did get Hugh, yeah.
oh, sorry, you hear it right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most other KR games are more pay to win friendly what people are saying is actually this game is too cheap to play compared to other games. Too cheap to play.
That's crazy.
We call it in other way. This is a poor people's game. It's not like official. It's just what people are making fun of it.
I love this
but
take,
it shows
though.
us
I freaking love
this
it.
is way less pay to win.
He's right.
Compared
People,
to other games.
they
So
don't value their time like they used
we
to.
are still we still think that this is a better than other game, but we definitely realize it's more pay to win than before, because a video, it wasn't pay to win at all when it first released, and getting more pay to win after time.
I'm saying an elite
So I
MMO
saw some people are complaining.
should be treated like an elite MMO. It's a good take.
And some people are still saying it's a cheat because it only takes a 15K. I don't know exact amount of average money, but someone uploaded on Invent, and Invent is Korean community. He spent 15K US dollar and he got triple deck.
Yeah.
They're flexing, not only one person, some people flexing it.
Yeah,
But,
15K.
It's not that expensive. They are saying like flexing, not.
Everyone
that
swapped to
expensive.
Star Citizen.
So
Yikes.
after I saw that, I felt a little sad.
Drop
It's just
100K on a
meta
ship or whatever.
chained, more pay to win, but I'm more used to play non-pay to win games.
But he's not wrong.
like
It's
other
not
companies.
as big of a flex
That's
for these 100K
What I
droppers.
think about pay to
There's
win.
no way to get to 100K and actually be good.
Okay.
I wanna build on Hugh point here.
The power
Let
scaling
me drop some knowledge
Is
for the
gone,
video player.
which is not good for
What if
the
I
game.
told you that this is not the final boss of Pearl Abyss when it comes to pay to win? And what if I told you that historically the people who made video have been absolutely savages when it comes to pay to win with their past projects? Let me just drop some lore. I don't mean video lore, just literally real life.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
in the past, there's this company known as Webzen. They had an MMORPG called Continent of the Ninth Seal. This is year 2010, 2012, 13, something like this. So this game, this is where Daily Kim, the founder of Pearl Abyss, he was a part of that. Now, people who remember Continent of the Ninth Seal truly understand
looking it up.
what pay to win is, because that game
I'll look it up.
was directly purchased, directly going into it, directly.
I've
you
seen
could
these graphics
simply
before.
Pay to get the
Webzen.
finale of that gear, and a little bit of a plot twist. The Daily Kim, who founded Pearl Abyss, was actually one of the guys who was either overseeing in some capacity the
I didn't
project,
know
or
this.
he was a lead
This is cool
developer,
info, though.
whatever. When Webzen announced they had we have 5 years more of Continent of the Ninth Seal. We can't wait to deliver all of that for you. And then all of a sudden, they have a very big split, and they started founding Pearl Abyss, and it's actually
So
what is
BDO's
rumored
like
to believe
the younger
that
brother
they
of
just
this
didn't wanna
continent
make a
game.
as hard pay
Or
to
maybe
win
like the next generation.
as Continent of the Ninth Seal. So this is like one of their
It's interesting what
disagreements
he's
with how Pearl Abyss
saying
was
here.
actually founded. And I'm not entirely sure how true that holds and how aware people are, but this is not as worse as it gets, believe it or not.
But it sounds like they founded PA
Yeah,
more,
it doesn't seem like this is a bad take.
sustainable.
He's
pay-to-win
saying,
method,
be careful,
right?
it could get a
They
lot
founded
worse.
it more sustainably.
I think
True,
so too.
and Continent of the Ninth Seal was such a good game, and the thing that killed it is it was the pay to win, and obviously that disagreement, the fact that content never got out. But if you guys want to research a little bit about that game, Webzen actually sold it to a private server because it was not rentable anymore. So you could get an idea what happened with that game afterwards. But yeah, Pearl Abyss can definitely be a lot more predatory. But what they did, at least at the start of their existence as a company, is oof.
Okay. So yeah.
Choice
think
with the
that,
grind distractions. So yeah.
I really think that the pay to win needs to be in check, and something that I was noticing about the pay to win.
100% focused, by the way.
I have a big.
He never
problem with it
responds to
too, and I
anybody.
mentioned
I feel like
briefly
we-
that if this
we have
meant that
ideas
we
and then-
got really good updates because
It's okay,
BDO
it's
is
okay.
now getting more money.
We
then
need more
that's
pushback
great,
and follow up.
but
That's what the
if you
podcast
actually
needs.
look at the
A little bit of pushback.
financials of Pearl Abyss as a company and their their quarterly reports that they do. I was pointing this out earlier. I think Namiko, you saw it, and whoever was reading the partner Discord there. But PA was kind of like taking massive losses in terms of their quarterly earnings, And I think that these gambling boxes being so unrestricted was a response to them losing so much money in these last couple of quarters.
Yep.
But the thing that kind of that really
You did call it
unmotivates
offensive.
me
I've heard it.
is I
Few different
feel as
people.
if PA
Show me the numbers.
is taking these massive losses because they are
Making
trying to
bad
develop these other
decisions.
3 games in conjunction with Black Desert. They're trying to make Crimson Desert. They're trying to make Plan 8. They're trying to make Doke V. They're trying to make these other video games, and I think that that's fine that they're trying to branch out and be a more, not just the Black Desert developers, and that's all they're known for. But
Say it.
it also doesn't really seem like there's a lot of inspired updates coming to Black Desert. We're dealing with Blue Battlefield delay. Edania Part 1 was split into 2 parts, and the first week was delayed.
4
We've got
emergency
nothing but
maintenances in a row.
Week after week after week of Orbita changes and fixes and bugged spots, and we've got quest lines where people don't even have their freaking clothes on in Edania, for God's sake. Like, they got no fucking pants on. Like, there's just the updates that we're getting.
I didn't know that.
And the amount of like
didn't know
money that they're trying to pump out of Black Desert. There's no way that the development of BDO is their focal point with all this extra money. And it feels a little bit awful
I need to
that
do
they're
that.
ramping up pay to win so heavily, and then that money is not being
Put back
with
into the ecosystem.
timelines that we're having to deal with here, where things like the One UI and Blue Battlefield and
Yeah.
all of these updates that were supposed to come out, even Altar of Blood was announced in 2023. Where is it at? Like, this type of stuff is just delayed or never done. We've got stuff like the hardcore server, and that was content that was like done and completed, and obviously it was in some type of a beta and they needed to make some changes. And what are we, 7 months later here? Like, where is this stuff? And for a company that has 770 developers,
We have like
just
20 of them, maybe.
really question how many of them are actually working on Black Desert, given the fact that 100% of Pearl Abyss's funding as a company comes from Black Desert. So I'm very curious the fact that the reason that they have the lights on
It's one
is
intern.
because of BDO, and EVE Online, their other game, is just taking massive losses, and these other games don't even exist and produce any revenue, yet we're dealing with delayed, buggy, and uninspiring updates and 5 copy-paste Grindspots like of themselves.
20 on
Like,
PC,
that's
80 on
kind of
mobile,
where the
600 in
whole-
R&D.
The reason I wanted to make this podcast in the first place is to just really have a dialogue about that monetization policy. Is you're asking for way too much based on what you're delivering to us, in my opinion, and I'm so curious what you guys think of this.
Well, it definitely shows.
Pure silence.
You
Did
ready
I
for
lo-
my take?
Mike, did I lose audio? Everyone's dead
So in an
quiet.
ideal world, I mean, I played MMOs for 31 years.
He's got
So
good
the ideal
takes.
scenario would be it's a box cost game, maybe a sub, maybe not a sub, or an optional sub, and that's it. But obviously, it's a Korean MMO. It's going to be pay to win.
It will be.
And I understand why people pay to win. They don't have that much time to play the game. They want to stay relevant, or they want to stay somewhat relevant at least. Like, I
Play
get people
crickets.
put money into the game to essentially speed up their progression and all that kind of thing. The problem I have is there's no cap. That's the biggest thing. Like, the blacksmith boxes, you can buy as many as you want. Like, there was a reason back in like 2017, 18, all that kind of thing, that you could only pay to win so much because you had a costume limit. And they've obviously increased that over time, which is understandable. But what I would like to see instead is like an ecosystem between the pay to win player and the free to play player. Kind of like you were saying about value packs. I was going to bring that up. I would rather value packs be good value, and people who are swiping are providing for those that don't swipe for their value packs. And if we're going to go into the whole argument of like, well,
I
gamblers
mean,
like to have their
Doesn't matter
boxes
that
for
much.
armed gambling, that kind of thing.
Unless if it helps new players, it
Then
doesn't matter that much.
If it's a 35 costume limit
Endgame
per week,
people
then
will
just
take
give them
advantage of
one
it.
box per-
New players
give them
won't
one
even
box
find
per
out.
costume.
It'll
They
be
get
gate
35
kept,
a week. Like,
whatever
there's a
method.
cap. That's the whole point. If you have an
I don't see it
uncapped
working out,
system of pay
that's
to
all.
win, it just undermines everybody else.
Yeah. 100% agreed.
And I do pay to pay to win. I do free to play because I'm trying to educate people on how they can progress in this game without really putting any money in. Like this account
The
I'm using now,
constant spaces.
I got the game for free. I don't have a 10. I don't have anything. Like it's completely from nothing till now. I started at January 6th and now I'm 825 gear score. And I did the season thing. The reason why I did the season thing, and I want to explain that now, Choice, is because one of the problems you're going to have as a free-to-play player is you're not going to have loot scrolls. So what I ended up doing is rather than going through the stages of progression with your gear, I thought, well, 2 birds, 1 stone. If I get all this money in season, I can also get thousands of loot scrolls. So that's what I ended up doing.
That's smart.
That's the other name that I don't know. It's
just on the
starts with a
side
G, I
of that,
think.
one thing that got raised to me previously was regarding, like, I guess, pay to win or how you want to see it in terms of like forced spending was the removal of character slots from the loyalty tab. So before, you know, you could get loyalty, you could get character slots through the loyalty tab, but now you can only purchase them.
Yeah, I think that was Grim.
So this
That's
was like a
yeah,
very
that's
big
right.
thing for a lot of free-to-play players and people that were just, you know, not wanting to spend money in the game. And this is one big thing that was like kind of swept under the rug because a lot of people didn't really notice it. But it was it's a pretty big factor, especially for people that don't want to spend money in the game, that they cannot access character slots anymore. And obviously, with the amount of classes in the game and the way the game is, having more characters is obviously more beneficial. So there are some things where you have no choice but to swipe for. So it's just like a side thing about that.
Honestly, since then I don't have any new characters.
I'm the same.
About that.
It's the first time I started deleting
the
character
message,
slots.
like PA scalping for $3.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
Well,
He's
I
not
had no
wrong.
idea that was a thing. I just
probably bought so many of those characters.
What the hell? All right.
Yeah, it was
Rest in peace,
when
Savior slot.
when they reworked the I think it was around the time that they reworked the loyalty shop. It was like sometimes they like snuck out and there wasn't really any mention of why or the reasoning behind it. And just on the back of that as well, the loyalty shop, we were informed previously that they were going to add alternate ways to get more loyalties to the game, but we haven't seen that outside of Pearl purchases.
Yeah,
outside of Pearl
purchases.
Yeah,
I hate to break it to you, that was the alternative way.
Holy.
Yeah,
Oh,
things like this are the like we have the big issue of the loot boxes and stuff, but we also have very minor things. Like for your average player, I guess it won't matter too much who's spending money in the game. But then, like I said, for someone who's like free to play or someone who doesn't want to spend money in the game, they literally just can't get more character slots anymore. So.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I find it a fine idea that they added premium outfit boxes to the loyalty shop. It's just that it takes like 5 months or 4 months or something to
For
just buy
one?
one outfit box, you know?
Not if you
logging
buy
in.
pearls.
Their logic is
I
just
know,
so
I actually
messed
don't
up
really
right
love
now.
the idea that they mingled loyalty with monetization. The entire point of a loyalty system is free progression, free stuff for logging into the game and playing the game. The fact that they even
Yes.
added loyalty to Pearl items,
You're more
and then
loyal.
they also removed the character expansion coupons.
You're more loyal,
Like,
guys.
come on.
Just always remember.
You're already giving people the option
As
to
long
30k to get in-game gear. Like
as you can
really
show
need
up.
to get little Timmy's
More
lunch money when
loyalty
he's
right here.
shopping
This
at
is
the
loyalty.
Come on.
Loyalty.
Yeah, it's a scalping, right?
Just don't forget
I
it.
think
Don't get it
it's,
twisted.
You'll have to correct me.
Don't
if I'm
get it
wrong here, but I
twisted.
think there's quite a few Korean games that give you reward for spending money.
It's insane.
I know that there's a game that I play called Eternal Return, and they do the same. So I think it's PA going down the route that other games are going down as well, where you get bonus like.
Yeah, the guy with the
items
4
given to
mil,
you
he must
for
be
spending
so
more money in the
loyal.
game to incite more swiping.
So loyal.
Because it's like
It
you
used to
said
show how long you
regarding,
played the game.
Koreans that are mentioning that BDO is like the
Made
like
for
the pro
motion
game
pictures?
because the other
Shit.
options available, like things like Lost Ark
Hey,
and
you
things
can't
like
read.
this, where you can
Wait.
spend significant amounts of money, and they've got content
Wait.
you know, tailored towards people spending money.
It's got
Like,
the face.
Side real weapon, I believe they're called.
You made me
that
double check.
Basically, is an item
be crazy.
designed for
I'm sorry.
a whale to be stronger than you, no matter what you do in the game. So that's the like dangerous part, and that's something that I hope doesn't come.
Whales
to the game,
should be more powerful.
where, you know,
If someone wants to
purchasing
drop a number of
currency,
dollars,
real
that's
premium
okay.
Currency results in you.
Nobody
getting something
complained
that you cannot obtain
When
otherwise.
Estimate spent 150k to get a Pendebreka
That's the true
necklace.
definition of pay to win right there.
Because he could knock people
But
over,
it still feels.
and he could roll Node War, but he
I
spent
just always
100k.
wanted-
Let him
I
have his
always want my
fun.
time in
He
Black
spent a
Desert to
house on
feel
it.
valuable. I
He
want
spent
to
a
feel
house.
Justified in my actions of spending dozens of hours grinding.
Oh dear, an A
And,
player spent 6 figures
You know,
on
as
BDO.
pay to win
2020, look it
creeps
up.
more and more and more and more, it starts to become less.
30K is just too cheap. I would
It starts to just feel not the same.
for the hours we need now.
The
Yes,
fact
I
that
agree.
People can just
For the
take
hours we
what I
need
have
now,
and spent hundreds
yes.
of hours trying to accumulate, and they can just, with one swipe of a credit card, they can get exactly to where I'm at. At least in the past, it used to be a year before they could get where I'm at to where I am, or where they are to where I am. But now it's just literally they're just such unrestricted access to these boxes, and I really think that they should take a step back and think about the long-term monetization of this game, because any game that ramps up their pay to win so heavily ultimately starts to collapse. And I know that Pearl Abyss's strategy, as outlined in their quarterly report.
Yeah, if
is
he's
that
lucky,
they're
true.
focusing on
Offensi's
making new
right.
Video games.
10K
But
plus some
I
luck
think
could
that
be hard
Black
cap,
Desert,
right?
Personally, I think BDO is their best chance of being a popular or like continuing to be a good financially sound company for the next decade.
Agreed.
Not these other projects. I
Agreed.
really don't think that Crimson Desert is going to carry BDO for the next 10 years. I think it's going to be Black Desert. And the more that they harm it,
W take.
the more that becomes less of a reality. So I think that they should really, really hear the players and not make those mistakes that they made in that last company that Verdict was talking about. And they should, read the room. You're 0 for 1 PA on your secondary game releases. Shadow Arena completely flopped. And,
did.
Crimson Desert.
They turned
you
something
hope to
good
make a profit off of
into
it,
something
but
horrible.
that game is not going to be popular in 10 years from now. Nobody's going to be playing Crimson Desert in 10 years. But
People might
will
be playing
probably still
BDO.
be playing BDO in 10 years if you continue
Probably.
to care for your golden goose. And don't strangle your golden goose in order to try and hope that you're going to give birth to the second golden goose type of thing. Like, I don't know. It just seems like PA's
Ouch.
got to be very careful with ramping their monetization. And
I miss Shadow Arena, dude.
Apologies, guys. Can I have a closing remark because I gotta go?
Absolutely.
Actually, gotta leave.
Yeah.
Not only would I milk that goose, I would put a choker on it if I were.
I don't think that was the line, Jordan TV.
It's just that
We're talking about the
I
cash
have a
cow,
lot more
guys.
Wishful thinking when it comes
Let's
to
knock it off
this.
topic.
I think that the future of Pearl Abyss depends on the good impression of Crimson Desert's release, and they know this. They also know that Black Desert is not something that they can full-blown focus on and make it into a product which yields more, because obviously they tried to do this in the past and it hasn't really been the most successful. But we have a stable community, and that's the important bit. I understand why they're doing the pay to win right now. If I have that wishful thinking, like I kind of do recently adopted, it's a new thing for me. People in the past know I was very negative and critical of PA. But I'm like, you know what? Crimson Desert looks absolutely stunning, and I would love to see that game succeed, even if it comes at the cost of our reception right now with the pay to win. But let's be honest.
Interesting.
Will they tone it down if Crimson Desert's success? No. They're not gonna touch. It's not,
I think he's right.
It's gonna happen. But
He's not right.
Yeah,
Sorry, he's
thanks
not
for
wrong.
having me, guys. It was fun. It was very fun.
Anyway,
Yeah, I appreciate it.
couple
Thanks for
good
being
takes
here,
from
buddy.
Verdict.
Thank you.
Cool guy.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
He's a plant by
Bye-bye.
PA.
Later.
Bye.
Good.
So there is a really good solution to the whole blacksmith box thing.
Yeah.
And another MMO does this, because the general idea of MMOs is an MMO will come up with an idea, and another MMO will take that idea and make it better. So Guild Wars 2 has a system where you can exchange your in-game currency for the paid currency, which is the gems. It would be really sick, actually, if you were able to actually spend silver
To buy pearls?
with other players. And that's capped on a weekly cap, just like the costumes. Because then it goes into the ecosystem between players rather than just this ceiling of just spending thousands and getting nothing from it.
Makes sense. Yeah, a lot of games
honestly
actually do that
think-
too.
Such an
even
interesting
I honestly
idea.
think it's somewhere a communication
I'm thinking about it, guys.
error, like a communication mistake.
That'd be a huge change to the game.
because like since
People
I
would
met
invest
them in
into
real
pearls
life,
as like
at
a
Huehotbar,
W currency long term,
I
right?
noticed that
When you
like,
quit,
almost
you
all of
sell off your
them,
bank
they
to go into
can't
pearls
speak
until you come
English,
back,
and
and the
they
pearls would
have
yield
their
more money
biggest
later,
player
probably.
base based on
If it's
English.
two-way.
And I think
it's
it's
two-way.
better for Korean developers just simply to listen to Korean suggestions instead of English ones. But they should get, in my opinion, if they have issues in understanding us and misunderstanding our suggestions, or that they don't even reach them, in my opinion, they should just
I guess his pearls would get really
they
expensive.
have the money, right?
Toby.
They have the money. They should just get more
Because
translators.
the silver grinders are insane
for their
in this
company.
game. Insane.
Who?
But if it's
yeah,
capped, it
hire
could be
more
good. If it's capped, it
translators,
could be decent.
So we get
Like 10,000
our
pearls a month you
actual
can buy or something.
feedbacks
If they
into
cap
the
it, it could be
game
good.
because
That's my hot take.
people say so many things. We have so many podcasts going on between streamers, but nothing is happening. Nothing. And I
Until
think
PA makes their money,
communication
nothing will happen, right?
I think
Nothing will happen.
it's kind of interesting because the people that I speak to who play Korea have the complete opposite view. They believe that Pearl Abyss listened to the West and not the Koreans. I don't know if you can enter this as well. I don't know if the people that you speak to or like fellow Korean players have the same kind of view as well. But when I was like browsing Inven previously, it was a very common thing where Korean players felt like their server was just a test server, and that the West is like the loved server.
You asked me, right?
His chat's saying
Yeah.
they only listen to
Okay.
themselves.
That's actually kind of true. KR people are right now very upset because of bug, and KR server feels like becoming totally test server. Like we had emergency maintenance.
It's not good.
Like
It's not good.
4 weeks in a row. And like
Yeah, 4 weeks in a
extension,
row.
we usually don't get extension maintenance, but we extension maintenance too. And that's why KR people got some compensation, like Chromestone compensation.
We got like
But
1,000
KR
cons. I
people
think.
are very upset about it. And people already know this game is some people are already saying this game is more popular in global than KR. So this game became more global based game or a global focus game. So I actually checked some people are complaining about it. And I actually asked that to Wansu too. Global peoples are like I asked Wansu like why you did some patch. I don't remember exact patch content, but I asked her why you did patch. Is it because of global players that want it? Wansu said no, it's not. It's just for all the players want it.
Yeah, they speak for everyone and no one.
So if
I think that's why
KR thinks if KR thinks that the West is being listened to, and the West thinks that KR is being listened to,
This is what
does
happens.
that mean they're listening to nobody? Like who?
Listen
Are they
to
just
who?
doing whatever
Yeah,
they want?
literally,
Like,
literally, they'll
Yeah,
say that.
probably.
Wansu said they listen everyone. Wansu said they listen everyone.
are their headphones plugged in, or like what? I don't know.
Uh,
Who are they listening to?
even I don't know.
Listening to themselves. Pat on the back.
Okay. Well, this podcast has been going on for quite some time already.
That's
The
crazy,
last,
Spacebar. Sorry to hear it,
topic
man.
That I really wanted to talk about was
You should
there's
try and
recently
escalate
some
it. Like,
changes
send another
to,
ticket or
like,
something.
The node war caps.
If you still have the
and
crons or
I wanted
whatever.
to like talk a little bit about the PvP scene.
Right, to our
And-
node wars, let's go.
Yeah. So, how has the PvP scene been over there in EU, Namiko? You're very on the pulse with it. How's everything going?
So I recently went around the like all the top leaders of all the European guilds, like the Siege guilds, the Node War guilds, to try to get like a little bit of breakdown for them. What I'll do is I'll post something in the group chat real fast. 1 second. Because it'll be much easier than to try to explain it.
Is there
But
still
pretty
that
much,
cringe PvE alliance over there?
we do, yes, we do still have that.
Oh god,
lovely-
why?
About waiting your
lovely
shy.
alliance that
Why don't you
locks
TK
out
instead?
our
Yeah.
nodes and stuff
Yeah,
like
their
that.
support's not
Fantastic.
been too great. Best like
Wait,
year
let
or
me try and
so.
find it. So I'll
Since
throw
I
it in the
came
chat
back, I
right
don't
now. Oh,
I
it's
don't
not
see
on
much
for some
coming
reason.
from their
But
support.
pretty much, there's a very general consensus right now that the current meta in Black Desert isn't the most liked. This is because of the DP meta. I don't know how it is over in NA,
Yeah,
but
DP
right now
meta.
there is a very big issue where DR builds, tanky builds are generally just very obnoxious right now.
Yeah, look at that
so
striker we just
a lot
saw.
of the members in Europe
No surprise.
opting more towards occupation, because occupation, you know, you don't
How do I
have to
open an
deal with
RTF
those
file chat?
DR players or the base rushing, and because kind of the way you play it right now is that you essentially just rush your enemy base, right? That's the most optimal way to play. And when it comes to Europe are completely obsessed with optimal PvP, right? Fun comes second or third or fourth, and optimal winning is like the rank one way of essentially winning, right? So what we have right now is I can take today's example. Today we had 2 of our strongest guilds in the region, and the start of the node war happened. XO3, they rush each other's flag factory to delay the flag placement, and then body throw recovs, and then result in body throw bases. As soon as you leave your base, the enemy guild runs in. You try and proxy with the ally guild. The ally guild can't really proxy because they just run straight past you because everyone's too tanky. You can't, like, you know, assassinate people anymore. They run into your base, burn your buildings.
I think he's gonna have to
you're out of the node war.
TLDR it.
So construction node war right now is not really liked by a lot of European leaders or Europeans in general. If the meta was changed, you know, if it was not a heavy DR meta, then potentially construction would be much more enjoyable. But the general consensus right now is that occupation is the more consistent one, I guess, for fun for people. So, but yeah, this document I sent is pretty much just a breakdown of what some of the top leaders, what some of the top players say. Like, for example, the current issues with cannons being irrelevant. So I don't know if you guys know that a few weeks ago or a few months ago, cannons are doing tremendous amounts of damage. They were like completely soloing your fort. I think it was like 5 to 8% damage on flame towers.
I remember that.
Yeah, crazy damage. Then they nerfed them, and they're kind of a joke right now, cannons. They're basically CC bots, and similar to like the elephant as well, with the elephant being so dominating for such a long period of time, and now it's kind of just, you see it, you focus it down, it disappears in seconds, right?
Thank
So
God.
it's like, doesn't really exist. Yeah, but it's a very good tool to use though, right? Right now it feels more like just a meatball kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the one thing that was shared across was when it comes to Siege, for example, Node War not as much, but more specifically on Siege.
Like we don't have a ton to add here.
Is that right now in Siege, 1v1 in a castle is like a complete miserable experience because of the tankiness of structures and how strong recovery centers are. So, you know...
All right, yeah, if you guys want to keep watching it, I'm going to give Mr. Choice a shout out, but I think we're going to go ahead and close out with the podcast. It seems like they have a decent first episode here. I'm curious if we're going to get closing thoughts later, but I'm probably going to like end my recap right there. I'll go ahead and give him a quick shout out, Aru, but yeah, my general take is that with PvP, I don't expect PA to be balancing it around world PvP anytime soon. If you guys have thoughts about some of the discussions that happened, most notably the pay to win discussion, and particularly I guess what we talked about with gear progression and ideas, it'd be awesome if you guys could drop one idea in the comments, just one idea that you think would save BDO or would help you be encouraged to grind more. Let us know in the comments. Take it easy, guys. Appreciate you. Check out all the creators that we linked in the description. Make sure you follow all the channels. Take it easy. Catch you in the next one. Oh my god.